Hello, hello, hello. This is an impromptu, so if you say I didn't know, you're right. I didn't know. I didn't know either. Let's see if we're on the air, so to speak. There we go. Has my old icon on there. I can see that. That's kind of weird. Hmm. I'll be darned. What's everybody doing tonight? Today, I guess. Today, it's afternoon probably for you all. For me, it's almost 2 a.m. Well, it's 2 a.m. The witching hour. It already is 2 a.m. I can see that. So there we go. I have three people up here. I'm not sure who yet. There's Novus Nick. Hey, buddy, how are you? Yeah, I hear the LSU's kicking butt. I just heard somebody say that on another on a whatnot auction I was looking at. So guess so. Hey, Harry, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, Robbie. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here, so I know you all are enjoying the sunshine and hopefully sunshine where you're at. It's dark here, continued dark until morning. Ah, thanks, Harry. Got the quads. Great. Hey, Novus, I'm assuming you got the Austin albums earlier this week, right? Oh, yeah, you did because you told me I threw in one in there. That's right. I remember that. So you did get yours too. Good. I'm glad. I really wanted to make sure I got those out before I left the country. Didn't want to have anything in my queue because I was going to be gone for 3 weeks. So, yeah, I hope those work out good for you, Harry. I think that was a pretty good collection, and I wanted to get them to people I knew before I sold them at discog prices. So, so I'm glad that worked out. Glad we met up. It was a great time in Austin, getting to meet some people. Yeah, you told me you were here. Yeah, so you're here like mid June, 20th of June, 21st or so. And yeah, it is, sun's out until, 1 a.m. and then it comes back up at 2 a.m. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Oh, did you? Were they all relatively pristine? I think from what I saw of them, they looked, the guy just bought extras of everything, and he just, I don't get it, but okay, I just couldn't pass up getting those. It was a lot more than I needed or wanted, but there was enough good stuff in there. Great, glad to hear that, Harry. I really am. That's excellent news. I just would rather share that stuff with people that have a desire for it, and keep it within the VC as much as we can. I mean, that's the name of the game. Name of the game. I guess we've got an award show going on Rachel's show. You're gonna get a peanut award or some crazy crap like that. I guess what that's about. I don't know where Concert Buddy's at. I'm wearing your shirt again, but you know. I figure the guy gives you a shirt for free. You should promote it. I mean, what the hell, right? Oh, you had to. Wow. Yeah, man, I've had that happen. Well, you know, maybe the ones got you were better condition, or the ones you had were, then you can, sell the other, gift them, whatever you want to do. So, yeah, I've had that happen more times than I care to admit. And a lot of times it's really uh, me take a shower. Oh, because I'm wearing the same shirt? No, I've taken took 2 showers today already. Got caught in the rain one time, so yeah. Oh, I got some major crate digging in. I mean, I really I hit a few things in Orebro. Yeah, the quad Dark Side of the Moon is great. Yeah, it is. Well, again, going back to reality, Alan Parsons, that was the way they made it. Originally, they made it for quad. That was how they mixed it, and that was the outcome. that they wanted, and then they mixed for stereo. So yeah, yeah, I know you're joking, Nick, but yeah, I did. I found one thing I do, and Novus Nick can tell you this. I try to find stuff for other people I know they're looking for. Well, I'll tell you what, the digging, that's a great question. I always hate it when I want to say just music in the house because I don't know your name, but that's fine. Um, well, let me show you some examples. I mean, what the hell? That's probably the easiest way to do it, right? Um, there's a few that are more poignant than the other. Okay. So, okay, this is a best of UFO, and it's on the original Decca label, and it's clean as a whistle, and even the cover is clean. Okay, and this was $10 US, for example, the UK original. Um, yeah, I gotta pull stuff. I think that's okay. Wrong bag. I got like 6 bags here. You're gonna have to bear with me. So here's a German OG Led Zepp. I mean, pristine cover. The wheel works. I mean, it's you know just gorgeous, gorgeous vinyl out of Germany. And this was about $26. So then I got a Rush. And these two I'm talking about, I didn't get for myself. I got for another friend of mine, Brad. Oh, you guys met Brad. He's done some videos with me, and he was at the Austin show. This is Rush Moving Pictures from the Netherlands, and it's an RL, and it's supposed to be one of the best cuts of this record. And it was about 35 US. 395 is so it's 359 kroner. So you go times zero point zero 0.09. So it's not 39.50, not $39.50. It's less than that. So it's about $35. I'm sure my credit card probably is going to get hit with a fee for you know, the translation of the money and all. But bottom line is, I mean, that was what I was looking for specifically for him, and boom, there it was. And I mean, everything in these shops pretty much, I mean, they got some $5 stuff under the floor, under the racks. I mean, kind of thing that, you can go dig through. But I mean, the stuff that's in the actual bins is pristine. And, and that's what I like. I mean, in the U.S., it just seems like it's such a mixed bag. Stuff's more expensive in the U.S. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Got a OG UK Foreigner, so I'll use this for my shootout against the Analog Productions when they release it. Okay, this was $12. Uh, got now this was like $5. This is a Grassroots Move Along. Now you're going to find this cheap in the U.S. too, right? I'll tell you what, if you don't have this album and you like any of the hits, the Grassroots, this is really a great album. I mean, it's just kind of one of those that every song is good on it, and it's got some of their hits: Two Divided by Love, Glory Bound, and The Runway. So I mean, it's got some good hits on it. Uh, okay, Guilty Pleasure. I got a sealed Debbie Gibson for $5. Sealed Debbie Gibson. So couldn't let it sit there. It's a cutout, but I don't know that I even have that one on vinyl. I know I have the CD. I got a OG UK of Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love. for, where is it? $15. Michael Nolan. Oh yeah, bottom line. Don't do that. Level 42, something about you, the 45 RPM, you know, uh, kind of CEP single. Got that for $2. What's this? Got a Duran Duran Union of the Snake UK OG for $7, and these are all VG plus. Got a Mr. 12-inch 45 RPM of Kyrie Eleison for $1 today. Got a Netherlands wall press, original first press in the Netherlands for $22. So, these are the kind of things I'm talking about that I couldn't get. I got a UK OG Michael Jackson Thriller for 15, which I really didn't need, but I got a Phil Collins UK original But Seriously Folks for $4. And I thought this one was coming out on AP, but I guess it's not in the 75-year collection or 75, yeah, anniversary collection. But I still like the album, so it's fine. I got a Wilson Phillips, which is hard to find, for $8, and it actually has the original press release from the label for this record as well. And this is the press release for Sweden. It included a copy of a magazine article about them as well. So, Darren, tell me about that. Tell me about what's missing on that Phil Collins. We got a Greatest Hits of ELO for $14 double album. I got what's missing on it? Let's see here. It shows hang in long enough. That's just the way it is. Find a way to my heart. Colors, Father to Son. The other side is Another Day in Paradise, All of My Life. Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. Do You Remember? And I Wish It Would Rain. So, if you know of that. So, yeah, that would be educational for me. I wouldn't realize that. I mean, I didn't. I assumed everything was on there, right? But maybe that's a bad assumption. What up, phone? People still trying to get a hold of me, even though I'm not at home, right? Oh, this was one of my better pickups. Tracy Chapman for 22. And this is a German press. So those go for quite a bit, as I think you guys probably know. These are easy to come by here, and they're hard to come by in the U.S. Matter of fact, one of the other stores they had one, and I'd already bought one, so I didn't pick it up. But when I go back there next week after next, if it's there, I'm going to pick it up probably, because people in the U.S. just we can't seem to find this. Armchair Theater by Jeff Lynne. I've got a sealed white vinyl copy of that, but here's Hello, I Must Be Going. This is the UK original for this. This was $7. UK original Groove Approved by Paul Carrick, one of my favorite vocalists. And I got a 12-inch of Another Day in Paradise, UK, 45 RPM, and a Hooters. This has all And We Dance and All You Zombies. This is a really great recording. I mean, I got this. yeah, $5. I got this to kind of compare it to the U.S. because the U.S. sounds amazing. Just you like hype stickers, huh, Harry? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. No problem. So, yeah. So I mean, just really, I mean, I'm in Stockholm. I'll probably look at one or two stores tomorrow, maybe. But I can tell you, if I don't find another thing, I'm happy with what I got. Here's a German, yeah, it's German, raised on radio. This was $12 with a hype sticker, Harry. I didn't know that about you. I'll probably need to do some looking at what I've got. I've got a lot of stuff that's duplicates. And I mean, that's not as big a deal to me, to be honest with you. So we'll maybe do some horse trading on it. Huh? What else can I get? I love Carla Bonoff. I don't have any of hers in any foreign presses, so I just got that one. It was like $4. Um, Another Paul Carrack, One Good Reason. This is a killer album. If you ever find it, get it. Great, great album. I test cartridges with it, and it's uh, what I like to do too is I just got two new cartridges. I got a Audio Technica ML 50 540 AT540 ML microline, and I got another one that's modified. The body on it is I can't remember if it's brass. It's a metal, and it's supposed to sound better. So I'm going to be shooting out those two cartridges, and I'm definitely going to use Paul Carrack's two albums to compare them. That was a gift. Okay, I showed you those. Showed you those. I think I showed you everything, guys. Yeah, I think that's everything. But it was a good. To me, it's a good haul. Everybody loves hype stickers, especially when you lick them. No, no, no. Scratch and sniff. Oh, there's Dave. It's scratch and sniff time. Okay. You have that Hooters right, the U.S. version. Yeah, it's a great recording. I mean, man, the drum and the beats of All You Zombies is just amazing. Really amazing. So, oh, you have the German press at that level. Okay, great. Yeah, I think I got a couple of them myself. Can't remember. If you like Paul, you'd love an album called Spin 1 2. Tell me more, Prime Analog. Spin 1 2. Yeah, Paul. They say he has the golden voice. They said, if his voice is worth, millions. I mean, it's just one of those. Do I ship them or bring? No, they come with me. No, I don't ship them. I carry them in my arms on the airplane. No, 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 no. Precious car. I mean, if I had a ton, I guess I would have to, but I either carry them or I'll buy a smaller suitcase that I can do with a carry-on and bring them with that if I really get a lot, because of my big bag's checked and I just have a backpack. So yeah, so it's a good question though. But anyway, I mean, I'd say they're the grail for Brad for sure. That Rush. I mean, he specifically said, "I want this exact version with these markings and everything." And when I went in the bin in his store, they had one moving pictures, and it was that one. So Saturday morning. So is yeah, okay. Well, that's okay. I don't know. I didn't recall enough about that. Sorry. So he's specifying there what tracks are missing. So those are on the U.S. version, I guess, is what you're saying. I'm assuming, or did they add it later? I'll have to do some research. I didn't know that. It's cool. I really appreciate you letting me know that, Darren. I have got to go back and look at your appearance on Rachel. I heard you were on there, and I wasn't. Well, I think it was the day I was flying actually. but seems like everybody had kudos for you on that. Available only in Europe. Carrick leads a great band that does all the class. Oh, really? Well, then I'm definitely going to have to look it up since I'm here, right? The reissue features those two. So, okay. All right. Now we're okay. Now we're so it is the original. I mean, yeah. Okay, I get you. Bonus tracks, kind of a thing. The bonus track. Okay, yeah. That's a horse of a different color, as they say. I can hear some of it. Okay, thanks. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna have to look that up because I mean, he was great in Ace. He was great in Mike and Mechanics, his solo stuff. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks, Darren. It is a great find. I mean, not it's yeah, it's a great find, but then when you really find one that pristine, I mean, the cover and the record and the inner, I mean, and then the price is really reasonable. I mean, I don't know. The U.S. prices to me have really just been creeping up and creeping up, and you get kind of used to that. And I came here and I'm thinking, I'm walking out of here with six records that even if I could find them in the U.S., would it cost me, 30% more minimum. They're all in nice outer sleeves, and it's just really, uh, just well done. And these guys take a lot of pride in their small. These are small business guys. That's what they do. I mean, hell, one of them, the guy's only open like 4 days a week. You know, what am I doing in Sweden? I don't know. What am I doing in Sweden? The company that I worked for, I worked for this long. Trying to make a long story short, right? So, hey, Lisa, how you doing? That is my sister-in-law who was at my house visiting. Gave her some VCLT. Now, VCLT means VC Love Train, Lisa. That's when you give away records to people. So I gave her some VCLT before she went back. But anyway, what am I doing in Sweden? The company I work for, I was already here in Texas and worked for this company since 1988, and then they got acquired by a company in 2004 that was out of Stockholm, Sweden, called Atlas Copco. And then our division changed its name like in 2018 to Epiroc, but we're headquartered right here in Stockholm. So I make trips back here in my role. Uh, my role, I had a really high. I was in this corporate IT, and then I moved from IT to safety, which is kind of a weird thing. But you go look at my LinkedIn bio, and you'll see my career. It's kind of a weird mix of things. But let's suffice it to say, I've working since I retired in 2021 in May. I retired my full time job and then have been working on a safety project globally for them uh, since 2021. That's ending here at the end of the year. So anyway, so yeah. You want to go to Sweden just for that Phil Collins record? Well, Sweden's a great place. What I really like about Sweden is everybody here speaks English fluently, so it's very comfortable, to be here. An elusive suite of ice castles. Yeah, well, that's right. If I can just find that, I'll be able to die with satisfaction. I'm blonde watching. Well, yeah, okay. There are some very nice looking women here that are blonde and dark haired, but a lot of them are blonde. And so, yeah, the people here are just so nice. I mean, they really are. That's the other thing about it. Really, it's great. So let's see what price is. Oh, I've got to watch that. Okay, I didn't see that pop up. Okay, good. He must have liked it. That's good. I'm glad to. It's always bad when you got to tell somebody. What's funny about things. I think and I had a back and forth. I think maybe even with you Darren, if I recall. And it was all, I mean, it's all good stuff. I mean, if I buy something, like I bought the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd, it was 200 some dollars, right? Bought this box set, and I was very disappointed by the vinyl in it. Now I've got the Blu-ray and all the other stuff, and that's fine. The book's nice, but I was really disappointed by the vinyl. So here I am, kind of admitting, hey, I made I don't say a mistake, but I mean I bought something and I didn't come out the best end of that. But I'm gonna tell you what I really think. I'm gonna tell you what I experience. Even stuff from Analog Productions. Like I said, Darren, I've had a record from a buddy that he lent me to borrow for a shootout, and the record had a little wave in it, and you could see it. And I put a video of that in there. So I mean, it is what it is. That's the way I look at it. I really, the 20. Yes, I did compare the 20. It's in the video. What I didn't compare was the 30th anniversary, because I literally just got that before I left. I found a copy of that, bought a copy of that. So I haven't compared that. But to me, the best version I have, and it was between the 2016, which is pretty decent, the 2016, the MFSL, the original, the Mobile Fidelity back in the 80s, and the Pro Use Toshiba Japanese, which won. I mean, I really like that one a lot. I may sell my MoFi. I mean, but uh, thanks, Prime Analog. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had the 30th, sold it in favor of the 20. So there you go. Our ears are all different. Wow. I mean, like I said, the 2016 is no slouch. And to be honest with you, if you really want to be honest, dollar for dollar, it's probably the best value around. I mean, even the Wish You Were Here and the Wall, those 2016s are pretty darn solid. They're for what you pay, I say they are very solid. Thanks, Wyoming Dave. I appreciate that. But yeah, I did. I said, the 2016. Now, again, the Pro Use beat it, but I think the 2016 came in second. So the Mo Fidelity's good too. It's a little thinner, actually, I think, than the 2016. Uh, so no ABBA titles. You should be able to get some rare stuff. Yeah, I did a video today. I haven't put it up yet, but I'll be putting a video together for my trip. The store I went into, and the first thing I scanned down, and it's the A's, and wham, there's a ABBA section right there. And yeah, there's. But I mean, the titles are expensive in this store, the store I went to, because it was almost everything was new presses. They had a few used things, but mainly it was new, and it was like really disappointing. Really disappointing. Yeah, I already did that one. Okay. New comments. I thought I thought you wrote a safe and sound Texas audio execution. Okay. uh, I was addicted to the two thing. Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. There's and look who they had working on it: Guthrie and Grunman, and there was another guy. But I mean, there are no slouches, and they don't take the low road or the cheap road. And so yeah, those are, like I said, from a value standpoint, those are really a great value. New vinyl, you can't. I mean, it's just kind of you can't go wrong kind of thing. Right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Darren, 100% on that. I mean, we kind of get down in the weeds a little bit with some of this collecting, of course, and that. But again, you could get the 2016 all day long and be totally fine with it. I mean, it's only us nutcases that have to go chasing, the big white, try to bring down Moby Dick to get the one that we really want. So that's our disease or illness, right? So yeah, and that's a great point. I'm really glad you brought that up because it is a great point. Those are very underappreciated, I think, until people hear them. And I think people kind of assume. Now, if all reissues were done as good as that, that would be something. But the truth of the matter is, in a lot of ways, those are not. I'm saying they're an exception. But again, you're going back to the whole issue of again the mastering engineer that's used and all. That really, Kevin Gray doing the stuff with uh, Rhino, for example, and that type of stuff. I am going to throw a link up here if anybody does want to just hop on for a few minutes. I'm not going to stay up too much because it's 2:30 here, but put up a link if anybody wants to join. So, may I ask about your ET cartridges? I have the 440. How do you? Well, I will be honest with you, Darren. I haven't installed mine yet because I was really busy before I left, and I'm getting ready. I was getting ready for this trip. So as soon as I get back, that's going to be I'm going to be putting one on each turntable. So the 440 I know MLA and there was an MLB. I hear they're probably very similar. Hey, look at that. Hey, Darren, are you muted?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you.
Same here. I
Yeah,
really, I did really appreciate you taking the time to say what you said. Hey, I don't take
I
any
hope
of it.
I hope
For,
there's no hard feelings. I didn't,
no.
I think sometimes too when we do these kind of well, sorry, you guys do it. I don't do it. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I do it. I just do it in sort of written form.
Oh, okay.
But I guess there tends to be kind of what's the word? I guess maybe I have a slight bias too because when I hear a lot of people saying that, they sort of slouch or put down things that are digitally cut, then
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, then I really have a hard time taking a review like that seriously because
Right.
I think what's happened, and I don't really know. Well, I kind of know who's to blame for it, but I'm not going to mention any names. But I think that's happened within the vinyl community. So now everybody has it in their head that
Yeah.
unless it's all analog, then it just can't
Yeah.
sound good. And I always thought to myself, well, if you're the definition of an audiophile is you want to get the
What
best
sounds best?
you want to get the best sound that you can
Yeah. Yeah. The
and in
clinical
your
side.
ears
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
your ears and on your system.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
so that's why I said I did. I probably went a
Well,
little
well,
and I probably
well,
went
that's
a little
okay. But
I went a
no, it's
little
okay. But
far about saying
you,
about your relationship
yeah.
with your dad. I didn't mean
No, no,
I just thought
no, 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 no.
as
And
a
I know.
totality of a review, that's what I was coming
You're right. You're right. But here's the thing. I've reviewed plenty of MoFis that are digital step and said they're the best.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I've done. So I mean, I've I'm very agnostic on that.
Yeah, okay.
I would ideally like to think that's true, but here's one of the things I said very early on, honestly.
Hmm.
And you go back to my first video before the MoFi gate. I
Yeah,
said, guys, these tapes are getting older. We need to do something to preserve them. I'm an IT guy. What does backup mean? How
yeah,
do I
you
mean,
can.
you got to think of that, right? Those tapes stretch, they have
Yeah.
splices, they have all sorts of shit. So
So
I'm a realist when it
so
comes to that.
DSD is the best way. It's
Well,
unfortunate.
the 256 is. I would tell you the 64. I think is. It's not quite as good as it
But
should as it needs
yeah,
to
but
be,
really
and
in the
that's
end,
what I did
yeah, but really in
56.
the end, can you like is the audio that perceptible between a DSD 64 and 256? Like I'm just talking about like an album that's I guess somewhat popular. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm after.
yeah. More complicated type of data. In other words, more complicated grooves that then translate into data where more errors can occur
Hmm.
in the digital A to D transfer.
Yeah.
That's where it can happen. So the thing about the 256 is that sampling rate is so high that there's almost no error correction even needed at all. Period.
Well, I always used to make this argument. Now, this is back in the day. Well, not even back in the day. I guess it still kind of happens now. When you have a PCM file, and I know George Borden will probably laugh hysterically at me for saying this, but I still say if you have the original tape, um, actually, it doesn't matter if you have an original tape or a copy tape or a production tape. It doesn't matter if you put them side by side and you hit you hit the studer, um,
Hmm.
you hit the studer, and then you press play, and then you press play on the two, and then you blindfold somebody. I would really find it hard, like I would really find it hard pressed for someone to tell the difference, even for that. I mean, and that's really that's really really intricate critical listening. I mean, you really really have to pay attention. Now, I'm not saying that people can't tell the difference between um a digitally mastered source, but when it
Hmm.
becomes an analog sourced and then cut to vinyl from um from that digital set from the DSD, like
Hmm.
that to me is like that's mind-boggling. That's bionic hearing. And to me, it's kind of it's almost like you can sort of guess, like George Borden did a shootout about what was it,
Hotel
Led
California.
Zeppelin 2,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and it was really really funny. He had the Pyros George Pyros,
George Piros,
yeah,
yeah.
he had that, and then he did the
RL.
RL. And the funny thing was, now see, here's where the bias lies, just with me as a listener. Before that, he had said um, that he had paid a lot of money for it, which I mean, there's no way you can really avoid that. I mean, that's just the case of whether you want it or you don't want it.
Right.
But but what he did say was, he said because somebody had, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was Dave, Wyoming Dave. I don't know if it was him that said it. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, Darren.
There you go.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was him that said it or somebody else said it. Said, okay, like what's the condition of the RL? And then George said, well, it's very good minus to a G plus,
Wow.
which I thought, well, geez, that's boy, that's really quite. That's a really really,
Poor. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a very very poor, like as a record
Hmm.
rating, it is poor. But
Oh,
so
yeah.
anyway, the funny thing was, then his friend, or I guess everybody knows him better
Nick
than
Pantazzi.
Nick came on, yeah, and then when Nick came on, then George did the shootout, and the funny thing I noticed was, well, actually, the very very first thing I noticed was is that when he started a whole lot of love, the first thing that knocked me out, what I did was I put my laptop through my studio monitors here. And when I do that, then I mean you're of course you're getting compression, you're getting all the little nonsenses that or nuances that you get through YouTube compression. But the
Well,
first thing that I did notice, as soon as those drums kicked in on that first Pyros, I was like, oh my god, that sounds absolutely incredible. And
Yeah.
then of course, you see, again, this is biased hearing because it's like, well, if you already rated the album, like grading the album,
yeah.
he put the second one on, and you could tell it was the RL, not because not because of the sound,
Because of the grading.
because of the grading. So it's like I already
Well,
had it in my head.
that
So what you
comparison to
really,
me
really
doesn't.
need, what you really, really need is you need like an actual
The
clean copy of both.
Yeah.
That's really
I've
the
got
only way
both.
you're going to
I've
be able
got both. Well, I've got both, so maybe I should do that then. with you
Yeah.
guys when we get back because I have both, and I have a VG Plus RL too,
Oh yeah.
which I got in Sweden last year for $40.
Cool.
There you go. And what do you think of it?
It's amazing.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Well, the
amazing.
first
I
time
mean, here's the
I
way I can tell, Darren.
yeah,
Here's the way I can tell.
yeah,
I can put the two. I got two turntables and a switch, so I level match them, and I can hit the button,
yeah,
and I can feel in my body the RL,
yeah,
and I don't feel it in anybody else's cut.
yeah. That's okay.
So
That's all right.
that it's not only what you hear, it's what you feel in that one.
Yeah,
And the RL, but any record when you're using a poor, I mean the grooves are already have been, you know what I mean, worn, and I mean that's like apples and bananas, and yeah,
yeah.
they're just
That's
not,
true.
yeah, they're really, I
Very
just
true.
really, I wouldn't even, you know, I
I
mean,
love your duo, by the way.
yeah,
It's great. I love that
yeah,
you're using an old, yeah,
yeah,
traditional analog system. It's great. I think it's great. I actually, well, mine is a very, very weird setup, but I did try. I got a, well, I have my Thorns, and then I have my, and then I one time I bought a Marantz receiver, and because I was thought, well, they're cool, and I want one, and then I bought these JBLs, and then I listened to it, and I was like, man, I'm not getting like that feeling of,
oh, that's nice.
oh, this is really really great and everything. I was just like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's just more for show. So I got rid of it. Like within a week, I got rid of it. Luckily, I sold it within the week that when it first landed into my home.
I
So
have
yeah, it really is all dependent. And now I've stuck to the system that I have, and it's great. I'm not moving.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Who's mastered yours, Dave, Wyoming Dave?
actually I found out it's not. Let me turn some lights on here.
You're always playing with your lights. Jeez, I don't know what the hell
This
you've been
I
a
think
prison guard before or something, you know?
this is a record. This is a record club version because it has CTH on it. I think I found
That's
out.
Columbia House. That's Terre Haute cut. That's
Well,
where it was cut.
it doesn't sound too terrible. This Columbia Record Club version, anyway. I
Yeah,
guess could
but
be
it doesn't have
worse.
any other initials. It doesn't have like AT or anything else on there.
CTH and a
Yeah, it's
second
Terre
T.
Haute.
There's a second T.
T is always, and that means Terre Haute.
Okay, I got you.
T, yeah, yeah, it is Terre Haute. Yeah, the
Starts
T
with
is Terre Haute. The
STH
CTH means Columbia House.
91672
Yeah,
one
that's the matrix number.
and one E. That's it.
One
See,
E, that's it. Okay, yeah, that doesn't tell you who the.
besides CH Columbia House, yeah.
Yeah, I have
Purse,
a Monarch SSRL. Yeah,
Look at Carl,
yeah, the
Terre Haute.
Carl. Yeah, I've got both. What do you think? Do you feel though that the RL has more impact? That it's more impactful? Um, you know, the way, you know, it reflects back and the strength that it has. I mean, I think here's the thing. I think the Puros sounds good, but it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't give you that energy, and it, you know, that's the difference to me. So
Do you have the if you hear my story about Led Zeppelin 2, it's kind of like the Pink Floyd story actually. Do you have the classic records?
no,
Yeah. Well,
no,
when I first started recollecting, if you will, that was back in 2014. And then, I, like everybody else, I guess in that period, I belonged to the Steve Hoffman Forum. And and then, the 2014 Jimmy Pages were coming out, and then everybody was complaining, saying, "Oh, it's digital," and I'm like, why? It sounds great. Like, what's the problem? Honest to God, what's the problem? But then the more you start reading, and then you hear other people saying, "Oh no, you got to get this pressing, this pressing." That. So of course, curiosity got the cat, or grabbed me anyway, because I am a little pussy. So so I was lucky. I was very very lucky. I found a sealed copy at that time I think it ended up being $120 Canadian, and I got it, and that was including delivery, and it was sealed. So got it home, played it, and now remember, I had only heard the 2014. So
Hmm.
so it had been kind of probably about a year since I heard that. But then I had been playing this classic records, and I think I played it maybe probably about 3 times. I was like, oh god, this is great. And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this kind of little shootout just for myself, right? And then I did it, and I have to tell you, I and then it was like now all of a sudden I'm introducing this Jimmy Page one, and I really have to tell you, I could not like I really had. There is a difference, but
Mhm.
it's not so radical that it um that you could justify the price. That I think that's what it
Well,
was.
that's always that, you know what I mean? That's all. How much more do I get for so much
Well, this
percent
is it.
better
So
or
then what
whatever?
happened was I
That's
listened to it, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't long after that that now I always screw up his name. His name is Paul, but it's a Barack or Darak or something like that.
P
He
Dub.
Nick knows this. He mentioned
Okay.
it not like
Rock
just
P
the
Dub.
other night. He did like a 7 album shootout, and the funny thing about that was I guess my hearing was well. It's not so much that it was correct, but it was just like it's like yeah, I couldn't really hear that much of a difference either. And it turned out, um, to be honest, I can't remember what was number one, but the classic records was number two, and I think the 2014 was number three, and they were so close. Even when you listen to them, it was just you could almost call it a tie. So then that's where I kind of thought, okay, well now I have two copies, and I don't really like to keep two copies of anything. So I just sold the classic records because I knew I was going to get better return, and that's the exact same thing I was telling you about the 30th anniversary for the Pink Floyd. So there you go.
Yeah.
So people will
Cool.
laugh at me and go, "Oh, you like digital better?" And it's like, no, it's not a case of digital or it's got nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. It's because you like everybody keeps saying it's like yeah well it was digitally remastered. It's like well do you really like maybe they did the exact same thing that MoFi is doing, which is taking the analog master, which I'm truly believing they did take the analog. I don't think Jimmy Page will be in the position of saying, "Oh yeah, let's remaster from a digital file." He's going to remaster from which they own. They're going to remaster from their own analog tapes. But there's only so much, as you said, Dave. There's only so much they can do. They don't
Oh
want to.
yeah.
They have to preserve it as much as they can.
Well, and time is a factor too. I mean, there's a lot of variables, right? I mean,
Yeah,
with it
yeah,
too. I mean, you could do things a lot faster typically with digital too.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. So I asked Patrick gave an answer about something that he answered it before I even asked it.
Oh, there's
That
Patrick. Hey.
that's weird. Led Zeppelin 3. I wondered about Led Zeppelin 3, and he had answered it in the thing right before it. He said 3 was he thought his favorite of the set. Now there's a thing about why case by case basis. Most, if my memory is correct, they were muddy. Okay, that he think the classic Zeps are not necessarily the pièce de résistance of them.
Oh, so Patrick's saying about the number three.
He said he thought the 3 was the best of the lot.
Yeah. Now I heard something. I heard somebody else saying that Led Zeppelin 4 on the classic records was not as good as well.
Okay, so
So I
yeah.
don't, but I don't. I really don't know. I've never heard that. So. So then
Hmm.
I just thought, well, if it's all going to be like that, but I mean, again, it becomes then you start getting into like critical hearing, and it's like, well, I don't really want to get that much into critical hearing unless
Yeah,
you're a channel, big channel like yourself, then that's
yeah.
different. I mean, that's
Not
what
that
attracts
big.
people. They want to hear. No, it's true. Like
Yeah,
people are very interested in that.
sure.
So
No,
so
no, yeah,
yeah, but like I said, when I do my reviews, it's just more like I am talking about the music. And yes, I will probably put sound as secondary depending on the site that I'm posting into, if that makes sense.
Hey,
hmm.
David, I don't mean to
No,
interrupt
okay.
you.
Yes, sir.
I just
No,
want
go
to say,
ahead.
I told you I got this album from Steve Westman.
Right, right. You did.
It plays great too. It's 45 RPM, mobile
Mm.
fidelity. Awesome.
Great. Wonderful. That's great that Steve sent it to you. That's really nice of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
great.
Yeah, no, that is nice. Anytime you can do that. Here's Harry. Uh, so yeah, I don't, how it is, Darren. It takes a lot of. I always use the analogy of kind of making soup or making a meal. The way you put ingredients in to make something.
Yeah,
So mastering's part of it, obviously. The tape quality, or source quality, whatever it is a. I mean, if you rip a CD and then make an analog out of it, that's not going to quite be,
yeah,
the best thing either. Uh, but at the end of the day, it really is. It's a case by case basis,
it is, and it's
and,
system based as well.
yes, and there are variables that we can't know. I mean, like the quality of the tape.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like the Warren Zevon self-titled. MoFi came to the conclusion the original tape wasn't worthy of doing on a one-step because they said they're not going to do it.
yeah,
They said we're flat not going to do it.
yeah.
So the more and more of those things are going to happen over time, I think.
I personally
And
think this whole argument about digital, well, should I say it or not? I guess it doesn't really matter. I know it's out there. I really do think it really, really started when Michael Fromer started going after the Beatles box set, the black one. I think that's where it derived
the black one.
because really I never like
You
okay
mean the MoFi, or which one do you mean? I'm sorry, I just want to be clear.
no, the black stereo box set,
The 2012, the 2012,
the 2012 one.
the one that was on Rainbow Records.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah, it was pressed by Rain. I mean, it was pressed by Rainbow. There
yeah,
was a lot of defects in it.
yeah, but
But
that was
once he found out it was digital,
yes,
is that what you're
exactly.
saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally think that's where it started. I could be wrong, but I think that's where it started. And because he has a whole great fan base, and there's nothing wrong with that because he's great. He's great at what he does. Like there's no doubt about it. But I think sometimes too, it can get a little what's the word? It gets kind of a little cloudy as to some of the things that he says. But if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. But then the problem is when he has such a huge fan base like that, people actually believe it. Like in the audiophile world,
Yeah. Yeah.
then they take it to heart. So everything that he says is God.
Gospel. Yeah.
And I think to myself, well, I really wish people would kind of stop doing that. So now, even from that point, even to now, if you read on comments like on Discogs or YouTube channels like yourself too, or anybody,
Yeah.
I hear it all the time. It's like, yeah, well, the reason that pressing sucks is because it's digital, and that's like, well, no, that is just so far from the truth. Absolutely, 100% not true. There's no way. I mean, if someone had this kind of bionic hearing that some of these people claim that they have, I really like if I could, if God came in front of me and said, "Look, this guy really can hear better than you," then I would say, "Yeah, you're probably right." But it's there's never most of the things that I hear or the reviews that I hear, there's never really what's the word? There's never a consensus as to going into one, say, yeah, that's it. I mean, okay, they could probably say, yeah, the Beatles suck, that stereo box sucks, and but it's really, really funny because, yeah, like I know, like if you grab Magical Mystery Tour, I know Mazzy has said it, and I know a few other people have said it too. If you grab the German one, that's the one to get. But in the meantime, it's like, okay, well, how much do I like the album?
Yeah.
How much am
But
I
it isn't.
paying?
But that one's really. I got to say something, Derek. That one, the difference is the fact that three or four of the hit songs are in like reprocessed stereo on every pressing, but the Horzu. The Horzu, they're in true stereo.
Yeah.
So that difference is a material difference.
Okay. Yeah,
It
that's
is
fine.
a very material difference.
But is it
And so,
like is it that like I don't know. I've never heard it. I am
yeah,
actually I am curious. I want to seek it out because to tell you the truth,
Okay, well, I'll send you. I've got. I'll send you when I get back. I'll send you my digitized files of those two.
Sure.
I mean, it'll be like night and day. I mean, it
Yeah.
is night and day.
Oh no, I trust you.
Yeah, and
I'm just always
it's
wondering, like,
totally
how
different.
much is it? Like, is
Yeah,
it?
but yeah, and that one. My point is on that one. It isn't apples to apples, really. It
Yeah,
isn't. This pressing is better. It's they actually use different tapes. They used a different mix. They used a true stereo mix, and
yeah,
the others were all reprocessed stereo.
yeah. Like I remember
So,
too. His name is Andrew. He's like a Beatles fanatic as
oh
well.
the oh yeah, he's
He's,
great.
I
Parlophone,
I
yeah,
love listening to him. I could just
yeah,
sit and
no,
listen to
he's
that
great.
guy all day.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
Right.
mean, I guess someone like that who's a fan.
hey, did you
Like
read this, Darren? Did you read
Right.
this comment?
Read that.
Michael Shermer can
Yeah.
hear a mouse for. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but that's his job, right?
Oh yeah.
How do you judge someone from doing the job? He's out in the public
Yeah.
forum. I guess everybody has the right to do that. So
Wow.
yeah, really, really
Zero
fun.
soul. Yeah. So, and the thing about it is with analog and I mean analog in the sense of a cartridge and a turntable and
Hmm.
that, cartridges can make so much difference on how things sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas
True.
on you play things pure digital, there's less variance. Now there is some variance between an Oppo and some low end Sony or something.
I just bought
But
an Oppo, by the way.
did you? Which one?
I got very, very lucky. It's coming in. Like
Two?
I'll be
Is it
picking
what
up in
model is it?
November.
Do you
I'll be
know?
getting a 205.
205. Oh, that's a
I'm
great one.
I'm happy to say, yeah.
You're lucky. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have a
so I'm not like I
205.
don't fool around. Like I love sound just as much as like everybody
Yeah,
else.
right.
So don't worry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get you. I
Yeah.
get you. And
But anyway,
and again,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, no, you. It was you. It was your
I'd say that the only thing I've noticed is my Oppos definitely sound better than the average run of the mill digital unit.
yeah.
They do. Like, because I've A/B compared them. I mean, even my older Oppo to my newer one sounds better.
Yeah,
I
everybody keeps
mean,
telling me that, but I think because of my convenience and the way I have my setup the way it is, like it's like I kept thinking it's like, well, should I go for a 203 because I can run the audio out, you know, back into my mixer and everything will be good. But then everybody was saying, I was like, yeah, but you got to watch the DA converters, and I'm like, oh god, But again, when it gets really, really kind of headachy like that, then it was
yeah,
like, okay, it just so happened. It was just the stars were aligned, and like this opportunity came up. So it's like, oh, I
Movies.
jumped.
yeah, yeah. That's what I've got. I think
So
I've got a
now, so now I
95.
can't
Yeah, I've
wait
got a
to
95.
hear $6 Million Man and really, really great audio. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, right, John. Right, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. That cut is different. Yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about there,
Yeah,
John.
a few people have mentioned that. Interesting.
EUK.
I think I was saying
Okay.
to George, I think the problem is with these things is that I guess I get frustrated because when I was growing up, like no offense, David, how old are you?
I'm 66, and you're going to talk about people's hearing, right?
No, no,
No. Okay.
no. Oh, God, no, no,
Okay.
because I think mine's going.
Okay. All right. So what? Yeah, I'm 66. But
Okay, so you got 10 years on me. When you were growing up, was like I just don't remember it even. Like my uncle used to work at a hi-fi store, Hamilton Hi-Fi actually,
Cool.
and he was kind of a hi-fi nut himself. But
mhm.
I never heard him talk about. We knew they existed, but he never went on about pressing or anything like that. So I'm just
Mhm.
wondering, was that a thing with you, like back,
It became a thing with me in the late '70s when MFSL, or Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab,
yeah,
started to come out. That's when I really could start to hear differences. I'll never forget one of the first ones that hit me was the Fleetwood Mac self-titled,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
and the fidelity sounded so much better
yeah,
than
Really?
the other pressing I had.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I,
We just never
but yeah,
made
it really wasn't a thing till then,
like I remember.
and
Sorry.
none of this UK, and none of this, yeah, none of that stuff at all.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. None of that. No, I didn't
No,
mean. I meant I. Yeah, like I know what you mean. Like I used to go to hi-fi stores and you'd see like maybe, maybe half a dozen titles and they'd be on the.
yeah,
Oh, basically, it was just MoFi.
I,
That's all there was at that
yeah,
time.
yeah. And then Nautilus came out. Then there
Oh,
were a
that's
few
right.
other spin-offs. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
I'd
then
buy them. I mean, I've still got them with the sticker, 16.95 on Dark Side of the Moon, and
yeah,
it's yeah. I bought them all back then.
I just don't remember it ever being a thing. It
No,
just
it was a very
never.
niche. It was a very niche thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a niche thing. But and even today, when you really look at all the collectors that are out there, or people who buy records, I mean, even the stuff that's audio quote audiophile records today
yeah.
is a niche, really.
Then you have the CBS, Epic, and Columbia half speed mastered ones too.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, and they weren't really as good. Now they had a digital step in them.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, pull out the paperwork that's in there, and
Oh
you'll
yeah, I
see
know.
it
I got
says
one. I got
it
one.
it
Yeah.
proudly says. And I'm
Uh,
looking today at records, and I even see them here that it says, "Oh, digital recording from the
yeah.
'90s or late '80s." Like that was a marketing thing. You were digital. That was I bought Ry Cooder's "Bop Till You Drop" because it was the first one. I bought it. I've still got the article that came out in Stereo Review in the album sleeve. You know, I mean, so yeah, it was a big freaking deal back then.
I remember Joe Jackson's body. See, everybody thinks it's all like just the Rycooter and the Donald Fagen.
No, night and
People,
day.
but people tend to
Yeah,
forget it was also Joe Jackson's Body and Soul in 1984. That was all digital, and
right,
actually Kevin Gray just cut that from Intervention Record, which is really
right.
really great. But see, I mean that's one of my favorite albums, so that's why I kind of went for that. But at the same time too, it's like you kind of think, okay, well, really, how much like if it's all digital, how much better are you going to get out of these things? One guy recommended to me, well, not to me, but it was
Yeah.
an audience, and it said this Dire Straits. It's funny because I just finished listening to this before I'd spoken to you, David,
Yeah.
and it was only because I had to get a new belt for my horns. But anyway, I pulled out this Abbey Road half speed master, and I listened to it. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds absolutely incredible! Like just amazing.
Which
So that
which one?
guy who
One?
recommended it,
Which
I was
time?
like, my god, this is great.
Was it this first self-titled, the white one,
No, oh sorry, it was Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms?
Yeah.
But
So
you think it beat the? Well, maybe you don't have the MoFi 2x45 because I
no,
think
I don't
that's the
have that,
best.
but I
I
have
think,
the original.
yeah, I think it beats that one, and it's an I know it's an RL, but I think
But
the MoFi beats it.
but again, it's like it's not. I really don't think you can screw up albums like that. They're just so well recorded. It's like, I would
Well,
appreciate,
yeah, Night Fly's the same way.
Nightfly, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
how much better are you gonna get out of this? It was just so recorded and well produced. It's like how much more are
yeah.
you gonna bring out? But then it
Well,
becomes a marketing and sales thing. So
It is, but
yeah,
here's where I'm going to disagree with you, and
okay.
that is, and I say this in most of my reviews,
Yeah.
a lot of the newer vinyl, the audiophile vinyl, is cleaner and more virgin vinyl than an original press, which could even have recycled vinyl, so they're noisier. Now I know the noise doesn't bother you if it's a hard rock record because you can't hear, you know what I mean, except between tracks.
Yeah.
Hey,
But there are
David.
songs that have quieter passages. So that's a value to me that's of
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
It
know,
David.
really is. but you're not really talking about the sound, right?
Not, not
You're just
no
talking about
no.
a shitty pressing versus a great pressing, but you can get that from like everybody sort of claims that the Japanese and the Germans have better pressings than American versions, which I think is a
Yeah,
very valid argument. But
yeah,
if you're talking about overall sound, like with something like Brothers in
yeah.
Arms or Michael Jackson's Thriller or all these other ones that were just so recorded amazingly, then it's like really like
But
why
but
I
the cut can be done poorly. They can do a bad lacquer cut. A bad mastering job will affect the outcome, no matter what the source is. Doesn't matter. So it still, I think, has to be well mastered. I think that's a bottom line, regardless.
Hey,
well,
David.
it has to be well
Yeah,
mastered for the format that it's going to.
exactly, for the format it's going through.
Right. But when you look at it, I mean, nobody, like, I don't remember anybody complaining about, Thriller or Brothers in Arms or anything like that. So when someone says that they think that they can get more out of this tape, if you will, then I kind of have, it's not that I take issue with it. I just think to myself, well, to me, then that is what's the word? Then when people start saying, yeah, well, this is a money grab, I think in specific cases like that, that's where I kind of think that's where I think it is. But that's just me.
Yeah. Hey, Nick,
Hey, how
Hi.
we how we
you need
doing?
to mute. You need to mute or close your other
Yeah,
window.
I'm working
Is
on it.
that
Thanks.
okay? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm telling you twice. You can hear that. Yeah. See, when I mute him, then it goes away.
Hey, can I interrupt for a
So,
second?
yes.
I just want to hear that.
We're
I
good.
showed
We're
you,
good.
David. I showed you that Night Fly by Donald Fagen a few months back. What's interesting, if
Yes.
you hold it up to the light, you can kind of see through it. It's
Well, that's
virgin
right
vinyl.
because it's Queex. It's Queex
That's
or virgin vinyl. Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah. Well, a lot of and
Mm.
all the like the MoFis are that way. I mean, yeah, that's the cleaner vinyl. Of course, is
And
the
I
new
got
super the
yep,
new super vinyl from MoFi that they're using
yeah.
is really dead quiet.
And I got to say hi to Kevin Gray on Friday's show behind the scenes. Or she
Oh,
said,
did you?
"Yep."
Well, isn't Kevin the lucky guy? I mean, what can I say?
Hey, maybe I'll get to say hi to Joe Harley next Tuesday.
Okay, well, there you go.
Tone poet.
You just becoming a real background
He's
ace.
he's the man to know.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, there it is. It did post. Oh,
you know
okay.
this, Nick.
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
I'm good.
Dave. Oh, was it?
Babe.
No, wait. It's not. It's not. It's not Dave. It was Dak. What was it? You yelled at me.
Oh, you spelled my name wrong.
Oh, he's a digital to analog
No.
converter, is he?
Yeah,
He's a
spell
DAC.
check's gonna fix you up, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, good.
I think my whole point with mentioning um, Body and Soul by Joe Jackson is just that, like, when that came out, it was like a really big thing, and now it's really,
The fact that it was digital.
well,
Yeah,
the fact that
yeah.
it was digitally recorded, digitally mixed, and digitally cut all the way through. That's why when you look on when Kevin Gray just did this, it was cut by the actual PCM files. So at that time, which were, oh my god, that must have been really fun for him because they must have been ancient. But regardless, it's really funny how things were just so big, and when you played them on your, I guess, sort of average turntable at that time, like I remember having my old Sony with a Grado or Grado cartridge, and it sounded absolutely fantastic. So that always stuck. Well, and plus the album is great. I mean, the whole album's amazing.
Hmm.
So it's just like when those things stick with you, and then you kind of hear like, well, somebody's going to remaster it at 45 RPM. It's like, really, like, why? And that's no sly against Kevin Gray. I mean, I know it's a business, and I know that's what they have to do, but it's like, really, how much more are you going to grab out of this thing? That's that's
Well,
kind of
well,
where that's where I kind of like.
well, let me give you the antithesis of that, and that is I collect 12-inch 45 RPM singles because they sound better
Sure.
than the same song on a album, because that cut is, tight on that regular album,
Hmm.
and on this thing you can literally see, you know what I mean, the gaps between the grooves in the rotation,
Question,
and
Dave.
yeah.
Well, when you finish.
Oh, go ahead. And so
Uh,
my point is the mechanism and the physics of 45 RPM and spacing is provides the opportunity. I'll
yeah.
just say it that way.
Right.
It
There you
doesn't
go.
mean you always get the result. It just means it provides that opportunity
Right. A better
to
opportunity.
get more out of it if it's there. Like Hotel California, literally from the day I got that record and I played it, I said, "Man, that sounds muddy to me." To me, it did. And all my life, I was waiting for a good cut of that.
And then I got mad. I got criticized because I said on the mobile fidelity side, I said, "This is not a great recording to begin with." So
Well, what we heard of it was never great. You're right.
yeah,
What we were
I know,
able to hear of it.
but I got so much flack for that. But I think I don't know if it was just
Oh,
because they were Eagles fans or
I
whatever.
don't know.
But it's like I
Um,
say something really, really like
I know.
Darren,
I try to be as positive as I can. But as
Darren,
soon as you
Well,
say
we've been
slightly anything negative, then people go off the wall.
we've been on a couple of live streams now together. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to
Uh,
see you too. Hi.
I'd like to mention that you're on a live stream and you opened your mouth. Therefore, you are subject to criticism.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you
trust
are.
me,
Okay.
That's right.
if
All
you
right.
and you know what? I never, when I'm on a stream, I very rarely, unless it's to say hi to folks, I rarely see negativity because I don't go looking for it. I only
Mhm.
see the
Yeah.
hellos and how are yous,
Yeah.
and I don't read. I was on one time on Rachel's, and I was talking about. They asked me about the restaurant. It was the restaurant minute. I used to do
Oh, yeah.
those, and I was
Oh
talking
my
about
God.
something and how I felt, and the people that were on the show was like, well, don't pay attention to any of that negativism and all that stuff they're talking about in the peanut gallery. I'm like, well, I have no idea what they're talking about because I don't care.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is with what I was doing? I like this
Speaking
is
truth.
well, no, it's not even that. Well, I mean, it's not even a case of being truth. I just it's my truth, but it's my
Yes.
opinion. But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. But the other thing is, I think this is like what I think this is probably like the fourth time I've been on somebody else's show or TV channel. And to tell you the truth, when I said that, because I write. This was a written review,
Okay.
and I just
Mm.
got attacked and said, how can you say that? Do you even realize like what kind of site you're on? Like I'm talking about the mobile fidelity sort of fan site,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah. Right.
came in, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm praising the album so much. I always give that positive sense of it. It's like, yes, it is a great album, but it's just those small little words that all you have to say is,
Yeah.
It's
just
your
like,
reality
I just
check.
didn't think it was a great recording. So I'm trying to think of how much better are you going to get out of a UHQR? And I'm not saying you can't, but I'm thinking it's not that great of a recording anyway. So how much? But then again, you know what?
Well,
Patrick just he did his review, and I downloaded all of them. So I have a feeling that yeah, that might slightly
From
change my
from
mind.
the information you had available to you, it was not a great recording.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
granted, we're assuming you have not listened to the original tapes,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
None of us
from
have.
the
No.
best the
Right.
best information available
No.
to the public,
Yes.
in your opinion, it was not. And you know what? It's an opinion. God bless you. You're allowed to have it. And
That's
whoever
right.
doesn't agree with you, God bless
Hey.
them
I
because
don't want
they're allowed
anybody.
their opinion.
Hey. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And cowboy hats.
Let's just say it.
But see,
Just
the thing is, too, every time I do my reviews, I always try and take sound as sort of a sort of
Yeah.
secondary measure in my review because I'm usually boosting the songs and say, look,
People.
Can you
like
see
this
my
is
mug?
like I just did one for I was trying to tell Patrick last night. It's like I just did one for hemispheres, and the best compliment I've ever had was
Yeah, I see that.
Come on, hold it up
some
there.
guy, someone wrote to me and what's it? Never understood it. Oh yeah.
And then he has a picture of the
True.
Capitol. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I did this
I'm
review.
sorry.
I did this review for Hemispheres by Rush, and the funny thing was, and it was just a comparison about a nostalgia Canadian red pressing versus the 2016 thing. So sound became secondary, but I just showed it just for fun. And then one guy wrote to me or commented to me, and he said, I've never been into Rush. He said, but just based on your review, now I want to go out and grab the album. And I'm thinking, see, that is the key right there. That's
Yes.
exactly what I seek. I just want you to go out and get the album and enjoy it as much as I can. Now, you don't have to enjoy it, but if it inspires you to go out and get it, then that is my goal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's it. And the Hotel California one just was so interesting to me because um, I always really, I mean, I don't know why, but the playing of Don Henley on the drums in some of those songs really was inspirational to me as a person that was learning the drums and doing them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you'd hear the cymbal hits and the hi hat, and you'd go, why don't they sound better? I mean,
Mm,
did they mic it that badly or what? And it always frustrated me. And now with the one that come out the one step, it's like it's all there. It's
mm,
like, yeah, he did hit it that way, and yeah, it was Mike good enough to hear it. And then people are saying to me, well, they never intended for the drums to sound that way, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know they didn't
You
intend the drums to sound that way?
You're twisting my arm. Quit
Yeah, well,
telling me how good this record is.
it's just
Yeah.
it's eye opening. I
It's
mean,
everything that you thought it could be. That's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
and
incredible.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to play drums to that song.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
knew
okay.
every beat of and I knew what it sounded like when you hit it. Now I'm no Don Henley, but my point is I knew it sounded better than that.
Yeah.
Right.
And it always felt like somebody had put a blanket over the drum kit or something, and he was working under a sheet
They
or
need to
something.
quit selling blankets, damn it.
Damn it, you're right. He
Hey,
probably
Yeah.
was. It was.
No,
Go
I,
ahead,
Uh,
Dave.
I was going to say that, to your point earlier, David, is that,
yeah.
see, I'm a keyboard player, so I know the differences between an analog synthesizer and a digital one. And like, I was watching George's stream with Stunty, and he was saying, about how great electronic music is. I mean, that's just, you know, that's his opinion, but he was trying to say that you can get so much more organic, true sound out of electronic music because there's it's the circuitry, it's the electricity that comes out of that instrument as opposed to, like, say, somebody who picks an acoustic instrument. Like if you have a piano and I mean, I could take a pick and just strum the strings, or just hit the key, and then the hammer hits the string, and then boom, it's dampened out, and then you're all set. But I think what I was trying to say is, or what I am trying to say is that, yeah, when you have a situation where, because it's the same kind of argument, it's very, very parallel um, to vinyl collectors, where they get really,
Yeah.
really fancy about analog versus digital, and synthesizer players or keyboard players are,
But
they think the exact same way. It's just
I
like,
know
it's got to all be analog for it to sound good. Well, that's just absolutely not true. You can still
there is
have a great,
nothing more.
have a great
There's
mix with digital keyboards,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, Darren, what are the first four letters of analog? But anyway,
Yes.
uh,
I, th-
uh,
I think Dave had something he wanted to add to
That
this
was good.
conversation.
That was good. That was good.
yeah, I
And I
know.
mean,
I figured you'd appreciate it.
I did, actually. That was funny.
I know what I'm looking at, David.
You do, huh? Nick, your mic sounds wonderful, by the way. Your mic
Oh, I
really
thank you,
sounds
sir.
good.
I had great counsel
It really
I just
sounds
have to
wonderful.
put it to better
Yeah,
use.
you know,
Wyoming Dave, you wanted to
Oh, I
give.
just wanted to ask. I forgot about this. David Bianco.
yeah,
Did you ever buy that Whitney Houston's second album on MFSL?
no,
Oh, really? Melinda Murphy's the
no, I
only
did.
person I seen. No one was too. Melinda's the only one I seen did a review of it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. It's a 33
yeah.
RPM at
Yep.
$60.
Oh,
Is it 60?
high price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're paying for the super vinyl actually. And
gotcha.
Yeah.
to be honest, if it was an album that I liked a lot, I
Yeah.
would do it. But
It's
I
a
like
good
a
album,
few
but I don't
songs.
think it's.
But I do want to go back to what Darren was talking about because that's very interesting. Because I think what Stunty, the reality of the matter is, when you do the kind of things he's talking about in electron, you can almost make almost anything. It's kind of like AI.
Mm,
You can make almost anything, but that doesn't make it natural.
Yeah.
There's nothing more natural than somebody blowing through a trumpet. There's nothing more natural than a hammer hitting a string on a piano. There's nothing more natural than a pick going on a string. That is, real.
yeah,
The other. Now, can you do a lot more with the other and create this, domain of music? Yes, you can.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. That's true.
Oh,
You can create, any aura you want with it. That's
well, you can
true.
create anything with anything. I mean, I could just, I could hit a pillow and it'll sound good.
Yeah,
Well,
Right.
yeah, but my point is there's more sampling opportunities there. I mean, you can quickly sample all kinds of mixes and methods and all.
Yeah.
That's what you can do. And so that's all I'm saying. And so if you want to come at it from that angle, it's true because of the nature of it being, what it is.
Yeah.
But that
Part
doesn't
of
mean it sounds better.
the
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
analog natural sounds, I think, is part of the animal part of our species. We uh, how long ago we were just sticks and rocks and beating on different things and using our voices and no
Yeah,
access to any of that. So it's a new place to explore. So
yeah,
I don't understand why people put down digital when it's just a another place to explore. They've explored all the different natural instruments that we've created, like you David was saying, the woodwinds and the strings, and now we're going into another place. And the greatest part about that unexplored place, and I believe it's still unexplored, is that we can also use everything that we've built it on.
Mm,
So we're starting from the beginning and we're just continuing where we're going.
yeah.
yeah. No, it's true. It's very true.
I
Okay.
think the other problem is too is that people have that. I think people have that word, those words. I've said this too, like in like just multiple other people who have done reviews. People have this notion. They listen. I think their brain listens to the word analog digital, but they don't actually listen with um, objectivity. They just it's more subjective because or biased because as soon as they find out that a Pink Floyd album was cut digitally, which is what I think they are. And that's the other thing too. I think a lot of things can get misconstrued on the internet. Is that people don't really have all the facts of as to the way this whole process was done.
Oh, of
I'm,
course not.
I mean, okay, like it states on the stereo box, like for the Beatles, that they were cut from the actual CD remasters, right? So there you have it. Now you want to talk about transparency? There it is, right in front of you. So if you would just want to, look at that and say, well, it's fixed because of that, and you don't like the sound, well, that's fair. But if you're just going to go out on a whim and say, well, yeah, but yeah, I heard these Pink Floyd albums were cut digitally, or sorry, they were digitally sourced. That's the other one that bugs me. If they were
Yeah,
digitally sourced versus something that more than likely was taken from the analog tape but cut digitally, like the MoFis do. So I think that's where the problem lies. And then people think, oh yeah, and then someone might say or chime in and say, oh, this sucks. And then the
Yeah,
other
but
person goes, well, guess what? Well, yeah, because there's a digital stuff, therefore it must suck. I was like, well,
well, but I've you know, but I've I've gotten I can remember now. I think back to a couple of reviews I did,
mm,
and someone hit me and said the reason you didn't pick you picked the analog and not the digital is because it was digital. And I said, okay. I said, where did I say that in? Where did I say? I said I told what each was. I said the
mm,
one was. I said they what they were.
mhm,
And I said which one I thought was better and why, what the sounds were, what
mm,
I heard in the one versus the other.
yeah,
But nowhere did I ever say or imply the root cause or the reason was that it had a digital step in it.
but
So some people
yeah,
jump to the conclusion
yeah,
of that's why you made the call.
yeah, but
Because
you gotta,
I literally had to send them links of things that I had said one that were digital.
yeah. But you got to remember too, if you're doing a review like that, and it's such a huge shootout because it is a massive shoot. The ones you do are at least you know 4 different pressings, so it's not like it's
Usually, yeah.
you're not doing like 1 to 1. Like it's not. It's
Yeah.
usually at least
Oh,
four.
they're very thorough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is very thorough. So it's
Yes.
like well, if someone's saying that, then they're probably just more. They're trying. I guess they're
Generalizing.
probably just trying to check
You know,
test your like is it a sense of biased hearing? That's probably
well,
what it is.
Sure.
I can
Sure. I
explain
know.
this if you'll allow me a minute, Darren.
Sure.
Uh,
Sorry.
just
Yeah.
just just like the video reviews and your written reviews. I have a friend that writes as a side hustle. He writes for a magazine.
Mm,
He reviews audio gear. So in writing and doing the videos, you have to follow that writer or that reviewer for a while to get to understand their place in the field in which they're doing, in which they're describing, whether it's reviewing audio gear or reviewing music, whether it's written or done, on the video. You have to watch a at least a handful or two to get to know the biases of the reviewer. Once you get that down and you like the reviewer and his methodology, then you know how to take every single word in
mhm.
every review. At that point, you have a trusted friend. And I think that's with this person that maybe has not watched a few reviews or
Yeah,
read a few of the articles. They're coming in cold without any history at all. And
yeah,
without that, they're missing so much.
yeah. They probably
Hmm.
just jumped on as a
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin fan or whatever it was, saw
Yeah.
an
whatever.
Right.
ad and
Right.
then just went, "Oh,
Yeah.
what the hell are you talking about?" I just put and
Yeah.
plus too, they bought the thing, so they think this is the best thing ever, and now they're happy. And it's like, how dare you slam something I just spent so much money on?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
yeah, that's where people don't want to be told, you made a bad choice, or you spent your money. You could have spent it more wisely over here. People don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear they could have done better with a little more education. But at what point you have to say, okay, I'm going to buy something, you
Mhm.
know, and whether or not you're sad about it and you find a better one 3 weeks later at the same better or worse price, whatever. You got to learn that this is where you're at. You made your decision.
Yeah.
You're happy. Don't be sad about it. You made it because you were happy in your choice.
Well,
Stay happy.
I just thought everybody was in it for just like really enjoying the music. That's why I
Yeah,
do these things.
exactly. Well, oh, ye of
Silly
little
boy.
knowledge.
Silly boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
man in the pit. I left man in the pit's comment up because I think it is very valid. An expectation that because
Oh, yes.
it's a UHQR or it's a one step or it's a whatever I spent X dollars on, you elevate it. You already got it on a pedestal, and so you want to justify your
Mm-hmm.
position. I
Sure.
think that's valid. I think that's very valid. And then John said the digital versus analog debate is always going to be a point of contention.
Yeah.
His opinion is tape condition and especially mastering causes the differences. I agree with that. And then digital transferring has come a long way. Yeah, it's come a huge way. There's no doubt about that. And Smolak said he's got the 30th Kevin Gray LP version and the Blu-ray version of Dark Side, and he prefers the Blu-ray. Which
There you go. See, I was telling you, David, I just bought this Oppo, and I have to say, that's actually going to be my first purchase. Is this like well, I don't have the system or to appreciate
it's not
Dolby
the
Atmos,
Atmos.
but I'm
Right.
gonna try
The
it.
5.1, yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, just for fun. And also to John, I think that's the same person who was on George Borden's stream the other night.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was just really some of the things that he said were just like really. I was like, oh my God, finally someone actually gets it, because he was saying about how he was talking about the MoFi issue and DSD, and I was like, now the guy gets it. I don't know the history of him, but it was like the way he explained it. It was like, oh yeah. Now see, now I latch on to people like that.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
John's good. I mean, the thing for me, and I've said this multiple times. I don't like repeating myself, but I don't know if you've heard it, Darren. The thing that always pissed me off the most about the MoFi thing was they had an opportunity to take credit for trying to, do the right thing and get the best copy of a tape when it is in best condition as soon as possible and retain that for the good of everybody for the future.
Mhm.
And they didn't take that, and they got defensive, and they spent, I mean, the first release on DSD was 2007, Natalie Merchant. It wasn't Tony Bennett's 2011. It was actually the Natalie Merchant. They figured that out after they had to do, all their sourcing. They experimented with it to see, is anybody going to notice?
Yeah.
You know,
Was it 2000? Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Natalie Merchant's Tiger Lily.
Yeah.
And the mobile fidelity of that is very, very good. Very
Now,
good.
what I heard, I haven't gone into that much extent, but I thought it was all titles after, was it 2015? Is that right or no?
It is all titles after 2015, but there were a spot here and a spot there where they use it on certain records previously.
Right. But see,
Yes.
okay, I'll tell you my thing. Now, I guess maybe I'm Canadian, so I guess Americans are going to get really offended if I say something like this. I really thought, I told George this too, because we had this discussion offline. I thought that whole MoFi thing was the biggest joke in the world, and I'll tell you why. See, this is the funny thing. I personally think that what happened, I don't see, you got to remember too, MoFi are in this for, it's a business, right? So they don't really have to reveal something that if they say that something is coming from the original tape, then it has. They weren't, it's not that they weren't being transparent about it. What I personally think is they were being transparent about it, because I remember seeing a lot of comments, and there was this one guy, I don't know who he was, but he always used to put this comment in there, and it was a link. And after it, he put in uppercase, he'd say, ouch. And then you click on the link, and it was an interview with this taller man and this shorter person. And the question was, is it all analog? And the first guy says, yes, it is. And then he goes on to explain. He says, yes, it is. Based on this, we grab the master, we run it through this analog desk, and it comes. We place it on this studer, and it's done. The second guy chimes in and says, we also use a DSD converter. So at that point, everybody's thinking, well, you're
I've never seen. Were these guys like standing outside?
I don't know. No, actually, to tell you the truth, the more I envision this video, it almost seemed like they were in front of a blackboard. But anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
and that
but
one.
anyway, I could send you the link. But anyway, so the guy says this is the equipment that we use for DSD. Now remember, this is way before the scandal even hit. So he actually is transparent because he's saying, but we also use a DSD conversion. So I thought to myself, well, okay, so what is the problem? Is it the problem because of the packaging, because the analog enthusiasts or purists, if you will, which is fair, um, are they getting upset because that's that should be included in the
Packaging.
whatever the packaging or the messaging,
Yeah,
if you will?
yeah.
Should is that the argument, or is it because some people felt that they got duped because they are so analog purists that that's what they want and they feel because they're what's the word I shouldn't use OBD but they're anal attentive so they have to have it that way or it's nothing, right? So I say
Yeah.
to myself, okay, then how does it work that these guys can actually be sued because really they didn't really do anything non-transparent. They just said, well, there's no really need to release this information because a, if you're a business person, you're going to have a niche, and your niche is well, you cater towards all your analog folks. So if your analog folks say, well, God, if you can't hear a difference, then you can, and obviously they can't. They can't. So is that really slying the public? But then, see, this is the part where I think Americans are going to get mad at me. I think the problem is that in America, you can sue for almost anything.
Well, yeah. No, that's true. That aspect of it is true. I would say, and let's just take this lawsuit
My
piece off
opinion.
the table. Us, those of us that bought from MoFi, if you've probably never watched my original video, which the thing that started my kind of rise to being known, and
Hmm.
I talked about the history of Mobile Fidelity and all the information they gave you, and that was their brand. That was who they were. Okay, so I tried to show how they, over time, had diluted and diluted. I mean, when they stopped doing half speed mastering, they never said it.
Oh,
It's just one day that word started disappearing from stuff. So
What?
they
Sorry.
already
What words disappeared?
half speed mastering. All their original stuff was half speed
yeah,
mastering.
Okay.
half, half speed.
That was their claim to fame.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was who they were as MFSL. And then they started to change. Now, people don't realize the gory story in the background. They were in bed with Sony. Sony gave them beta DSD. The first DSD was Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever on CD.
Hmm.
And then somebody got the bright idea of saying, shit, if that works that good for that, I wonder if we could preserve these files to use for vinyl. So you're in alignment with what you're saying. They made a business decision to not be as transparent as they used to be. They did. And I'm
Okay.
sure the reason this lawsuit will go through, and I'll tell you why, MoFi will accept it. And you know why? Because if MoFi has to go through discovery, I took pre-law, by the way. If MoFi has to go through discovery
Yeah.
and they find emails that say that they were complicit in duping people, they're in for a big lawsuit.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. Well, yeah, but that's okay. But that's I see what you're saying. Yeah, but
yeah,
that becomes sort of a sort of secondary lawsuit. Would you not agree?
no,
It's not part of the
it's
it's not really part of the initial lawsuit.
no, it has to be a different lawsuit. You're right.
Right.
No, absolutely, it has to be a different lawsuit.
Yeah,
But
but
But my
in the
point is
end,
their liability in that one would be much higher.
in the
yeah,
end, the only people that win are the lawyers.
that's right.
That's
That's
always
right.
true. That's
Always. I mean,
always true.
seriously, we
Yeah,
lose out because
Yeah.
they'll go under and not produce the product that are obviously still in demand.
Yeah, and no one wants that. I mean,
No,
I should say no one. I shouldn't say no one. There's probably somebody that does. That
I
they're
need a quick
so they're
show of
so
hands. Quick show of hands. How many here like the plangent process? I love it.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I think its intentions are what are needed for
It's up
certain
front.
recordings.
I don't know what that
When
means, actually.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, the plangent process is when they have a recording that needs help. It's either analog or digital, and it has problems where it doesn't sound so good. They
Mhm.
go in and actually fix it up and make it
Okay.
sound better.
Okay.
And it's done in the digital domain.
Gotcha.
And I don't have a problem with that. If the end product, they're upfront with it that
Yeah.
this is what we did,
Mhm.
and what do you think of the sound? And every
Yeah,
recording I've heard,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
Cat Sounds comment here. See, this is the video that I saw, and neither one mentions any digital in the process at all. As a matter of fact, they are very emphatic about it being all analog only. They
That's
are
the first
very
part of the
emphatic.
question. Yes, I don't know if it's the exact same video that I saw. All I saw was like when this was going on, the link came on and it said "ouch." It was the same guy. He kept doing it on every site, and I kept
Yeah,
thinking, well, this is I've seen this before. And then it's the shorter gentleman who
I,
says right after it, he says, "But we use this DSD process." So, but
yeah,
everybody,
yeah, yeah. But
but I
I
think
think that I
well,
remember that video.
I think people's
That
assumption assumed that that was
that
an
video,
analog.
that
They assumed
video.
that was an
No,
analog step or a process.
no, that video was not about cutting vinyl. That video was a new process to make that Tom Petty CD in 1996.
Was it okay?
That was time. It is there, but they applied that. Seeing that, if you assume he was talking about putting it to vinyl, he wasn't. I know
Okay.
the one you're talking about now. I remember it.
Do
It was
you?
at a
I
demo. They
don't
were doing
record
like a
it.
demo of this new. It was
Yeah.
the Ultra Gain. It was the Ultra Gain system.
Right. I think that's
Tim
what it was.
Pazalowski or something. Yeah, it was the Ultra Gain, and that was about making the Tom Petty CD. The first CD, Full Moon Fever. Now I remember the video. I think that Cat Sounds is talking about is where these two guys are standing outside in 2015 or 14,
Okay, but
and
okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, but
yeah,
then if you're telling me that if it's about
yeah,
a CD, then why is this guy posting on the controversy of something that's all analog?
yeah.
And
I know.
that
That
makes no sense.
slight. Yeah, well, I don't know if he knew when the video was done. I'm not
Mhm.
going to cast aspersions that he, you know what I mean, tried to, just
Try to
apply
gain some
something that
likes or
didn't.
something
Right.
like that. Yeah,
I have no idea,
yeah,
but I remember that video very well now that I've thought about that and probably, but that was for when they were doing Petty because that
yeah,
was the first Ultra Gain.
yeah.
And Ultra Gain is not DSD. That's not.
I just like one of these.
There-
Oh, great album.
No, that's in. Well, that says they use the original tape. That doesn't mean
That
anything
has
else.
that word Anadis 2000 gain system.
Mm.
That's it. That's the first. See, that's gain system. The new one is Ultra Gain
Okay,
2.
I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Anadisc was in the 90s.
That's
They
from the
made those in the 90s. Yep.
But
So
going
that
back,
video, yeah.
sorry,
So
no, go ahead. It's
no,
your show, man.
so
I
yeah,
shouldn't
no,
be
no,
interrupting.
no, it's okay. No,
No, I was gonna say, like, going back to
you're
that
passionate.
planning process.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm so frustrated because I'm still waiting for my who's next. I'm so sick.
You're not
I'm
next.
so sick of Universal Music Canada. I'm just sick of them. I hate them. My record guru will agree with me. He knows it's just so. It's like it's been almost over a month trying to get this stupid thing in. So
Somebody else
so
is
that's the only
next.
thing I'd be able to comment about that planning process because I know it takes place on that, and I can't even do it because it's like God, I can't even get the thing. The thing was released like a
Well,
month ago, and I can't
I
even
don't
get
care.
it.
Yeah, and I don't
Dog
care when they did
slays.
do
Universal
it.
sucks,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, they're trying to but here's this. Plangent is trying to compensate for something that's problematic. All right? I mean, that's really why it exists. So, and that is why the Who's Next remake does not beat the original.
I thought it was about speed and Won't Floater on the tape.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's about something that's degraded.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that
that's all I'm
process
saying. They're
and that
trying to
process
correct it.
and that
They're trying
process
to correct
fixes
it.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
No, no, I'm asking, does it? I thought that's what it was supposed to do.
It it reduces the impact of it,
Right.
is what I would say. Yeah,
It
it
enhances
reduces
or
the impact of it.
it
Yeah.
improves it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It reduces the negative effect that would have, so that you can hear the way it was intended to be heard. Is the way I would put it. Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
That's for sure. It's doing something to make sure you have a more high quality ingredient in your stew,
Yeah.
essentially,
And by the
which
way,
is the
I
mix.
did love your shoot about
Okay.
who's next, and also too, I have to give you also another shout out for your Super Tramps Breakfast in America. I really enjoyed that
Oh,
review. That I thought that was really
good,
good one.
good. Thanks. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. That's
I do
well
love
done.
them. It's
Have
great.
you ever have you ever have you ever taken the cover of that? Did I tell you in that about turning it backwards with the mirror
Yeah,
and 9/11?
I heard that years ago. I was like, my
Yeah.
God,
Okay.
man, people are.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I would never
Yeah, I
even
know.
think to do something like that.
That's how I copy
No.
tapes.
Yeah.
Nerd.
You
I was
heard
gonna say, Nick, you usually keeping me awake when I'm driving. Now you're keeping me awake. It's 3:46 a.m. I'm
three.
having a good
Oh, that
time.
you're up
Well,
early.
what is it you really have to do tomorrow? Go shopping?
Go to church and go shopping.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Well, that sounds like a
Got
full day.
got first, vinyl second.
Hey David,
Yeah.
what's the sales tax like there in Sweden for like just for buying? Is it uh is it comparable? Would you say like from being in Texas or
Okay, get ready.
yeah,
There is none to the purchaser.
none? Eh? Wow,
None.
wow.
You buy two $40 records, you pay eight, or whatever the crown, the Swedish crown equivalent is.
It's
Yeah,
the
But the
yeah.
I
number
thought it
they
was
just add up. There is
is it
kroner,
okay, it's the chrono. Okay.
kroner. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Is that
all the same. It's just,
it's
yeah, it's all the
funny
same.
when I was there,
And you don't tip in restaurant. You don't tip in restaurants.
right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the people are paid well enough that you don't need to do
Well,
that.
it's not part of their it's not part of the system, their incentive program.
Well, they don't
See,
pay
here in the
people two
States, they
dollars
need
and thirteen cents to be a waiter. That's
what's
the
that?
difference. Said the U.S. Right? I mean, the people who are waitresses and waiters have a lower minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So they need it to supplant that. Whereas here, they're paid like a regular, job. I mean,
well,
there's
the idea is that if you give better service, you get a better tip. So you can hustle. I've had servers hustle some
they
great
make.
money,
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, that's
and
right.
because they were excellent at their job. Now, if you don't work at it, well, then you reap the benefits, and eventually you lose your job because you're driving customers away. So, so that if you were just to be paid, and it didn't matter how you treated the customer, where's the incentive? So
Well, I can
it's a
tell you,
different process.
they treat customers here very
Yeah, well,
well.
Sweden's a different culture, my friend.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with it, so I understand. It was great. It was funny when I was there. They literally treated me as an American. Now this is in '82. They treated me as if I was royalty. It was almost to the point of uncomfortable. It was that enriching. It was just
Yeah.
I was staying at a friend's house, and even the mother's like, "Well, what time do you want to get up? What time do you want to eat?" They wanted to sit me at the head of the table. I'm like, "Wait! Treat me like one of your children." And it was that way no matter where I went. Everyone thought
Yeah.
America and treated Americans. This is 1982, maybe.
Weird
It
record.
was a different world in Sweden, I'm sure as well. But it was a different. It's a definitely a different culture. They're
Yeah.
taxed crazily, and everything is paid for, quote unquote. You know how
You,
that
you,
works.
you know what though? When you start adding up what we're really taxed in America,
Oh my
not
God.
just income tax,
No,
not
every
just
tax.
sales tax, roll tolls on roads, whatever it is, all these things, we're taxed a lot higher than most people think.
Well, of course, you're taxed on your income, and then when you buy something, you're taxed on it again. Then, I
Right.
mean, there's just tax after tax after tax. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And how, well, let's not even get into all that.
No, no, no,
Records. I
no,
want to talk
no.
records.
But I did want to answer something to.
Oh, we had a question. I didn't see it. Hey,
No,
Joe
no,
Pine.
that's no, and it's John about plangent process.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to imply that I thought the plangent process was in any way quote responsible for why the current Who records didn't beat the OG in and of themselves, in and of itself. I didn't really I didn't mean to give that impression that I
See,
thought that it's
yeah, I
yeah
didn't
that
see it
it
that
did
way.
that. Yeah, okay, but I,
I,
I just want to be clear. I
right.
didn't. I think he's right. Mastering is always
Yeah.
that big variable,
There's
and
who was it? Bruce Springsteen had a set of records that they used. It was live concert, I believe. The Grateful Dead, they use it for their live concerts, and I'm a Deadhead. I admit it. I love the Dead,
okay,
Cool.
and it's some of the stuff that's put out. I don't care how it was recorded digitally, analog. It is wonderful. The only thing with the reason I prefer a record is because it has a certain body to it that I don't believe digital playback delivers. And that's just me. You don't have to agree. I don't care if you do, don't care if you don't.
no,
Just do
no.
whatever you enjoy.
But
That
but here's the thing, and I've mentioned this a million times. There's two transducers in those systems: your speakers and a
Yep.
cartridge,
Yep.
right? Well,
Yep.
guess what? You don't. When digital, you don't have two transducers. You got one because you don't
Yep.
have a cartridge. So you don't have that ability to vary the warmth or the sound or the whatever.
Well, you do have
Uh,
a DA converter.
You do, and the DA converter can
Yeah.
be different. You're right,
Yeah.
but
And
I've
then when you get to something like I don't know what the percentages are, but in my case, I have a tube system. Now you can roll tubes till the cows come home and change your system on a daily
sound
basis.
totally. Yeah, that's another sound effector, big
Yeah,
time.
and I have a set of speakers that were uh, too high in the treble, very treble heavy when they were new. They've since worn down, but it was just too much. Outside of that, I love the speakers, so I toned down the rest of my system, and it was beautiful.
How
It's
often
nice
do
to
you,
have
how
that
often do
ability.
you change your how often do you change your tubes?
Oh, it's a myth that you have to change tubes
Well, I don't
off.
know. I plead
Yeah,
ignorance. I was just curious because I
it's
know
Well,
I
people do
haven't
this to
I haven't
experiment.
changed. Well, which tubes?
it's
I
it's
haven't
about like
changed any of my
it's like
tubes
your
in years.
isn't it like your underwear? You
No,
haven't done it in years.
no, that's your T-shirt you're wearing, David.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Take a shower, would ya?
I
Hope concert
hey,
buddies
this
got it. Hope,
t-shirt's already been washed once already since I've been here.
Oh,
hope
So
too
I
concert
do.
buddies
funny.
got
I
it.
do.
goodness.
I definitely poop better when I change my underwear. I noticed
Yeah, it
that.
just
Yeah,
it's
I
amazing.
actually have Russell. I actually have one. I could go pull it out and look at it.
I think they did, Russell. I think I heard when the guy that does
I
Plangent was
have it here.
interviewed by Steve. I think the guy mentioned Springsteen series.
I can pull
I
it
think
if
he
you like.
talked about it.
I
Yeah.
heard. No, I haven't heard the Who's Next. Not the latest one. I have a copy, I believe, of OG.
Yeah.
Love the
Yeah.
Dead too. Right on, Nick.
Well, it's weird for me because to tell you the truth, they would probably
Yeah.
laugh, even though I'm
Oh,
playing a lot of
jazz,
cards. But I've never owned that album.
jazz and tubes are great.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can roll the tops really sweet. Of course, during the winter,
But does
tubes
it
are
cause
better.
you to actually enjoy the music? That's the
Yes,
thing. Well, that's
absolutely.
not. See, that hadn't happened for me.
Well,
I
hey,
haven't. I
that's why
haven't
they
caught
make
that bug.
chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
They do.
But yeah, the tubes are better during the winter though. You don't
Yeah, they
have to.
warm up your house.
Yeah, my KT 120s run from 295 to 340. each, and there's 8 of them.
Hmm.
That's a lot of ass.
That's
That's a lot of what?
A lot of ass.
As he said.
yeah. Oh my. Oh my.
Mm. Is that legal in that country there, David?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, here's in case you didn't know it, Darren, I'm actually Canadian.
Are you really?
Yeah, I was born in Quebec.
Oh, so you must have a very dear fawning for Ted Cruz,
Oh,
who's also Canadian but won't admit it.
yeah, well, I'm more. Yeah, I like him about as much as I do Pablo Cruz. But anyway,
Hey, Pablo Cruz is great.
love will find a way.
You know, if you look hard enough, just about everybody has a spot that you like about them.
Yeah, I
Of
know.
course, I am that gold hem in the cloud kind of guy.
Yeah,
Always looking for it.
We're in
Yeah.
we're in Quebec, David.
Quebec City.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
got it.
But I was adopted when I was 3 months old, so I don't know much of it, of course.
Oh, it's
So
beautiful.
John asked me if I'm seeing the sights in Sweden. I've seen most of the sights already. I've been this is like my 10th trip. So
Yeah, I wish I had gotten to Stockholm.
all of my sites now have records in them.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
a story from Kalmar that was pretty funny. So I was the spoiled American back in those days because, being American, we're spoiled. So I was the designated driver as well because they have back then they had a very high alcoholic consumption. That's where I learned to make moonshine. So the spoiled American is out at the restaurant, and I said, I feel like some shrimp. Now I'm wanting some good Gulf shrimp without the head.
Gulf? You mean Gulf shrimp?
Yes, GULF.
Okay.
Gulf.
Okay. Well, it sounded like golf, like
Golf? No,
swing
not
the
golf.
club.
Golf. Okay. Anyway, so
it's golfers, man. It's golfers.
I said I want a nice plate of shrimp. So they come out with these things that were this big, looking back at me. They were maybe the big ones were this big. I was like, "What's that?" They said, "A shrimp." I was like, "No, that's bait," and it's generous calling it bait.
I have the cool pocket knife.
Okay. Huh?
Is that an original?
I actually got this through TSA security. Now, how does that happen?
Oh, see, that's crazy. That is
You won't
crazy.
get it back the other way.
Yeah,
Go ahead, open your mouth.
it was
Big
in
Brother's
my
watching.
computer bag. Yeah, it was in my
Yeah.
computer bag. Yeah, they'll probably cuff me and stuff me now.
Yeah, buddy mine has Prima Luna.
So do you?
You had to go all the way to hey Nick. You had to go all the way to Sweden
to learn how to
home
make it.
shoes?
Yeah, actually,
Come
yeah,
in
it was
Florida.
pretty neat. They back then, I don't know about now, but they actually they limited the amount of sugar you could buy at the grocery store because it's a key ingredient in making moonshine.
To stop it.
Yeah, but everybody would get fired up before they go out to the bar because it was so expensive back then. In '82, a beer at the bar was like $5 or $7. Yeah, that's kind of expensive for back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah,
Dave, if you're the mayor of the VC on Facebook, then I'm gonna ask for a recount.
Yeah, I'm moving out.
Concert buddy put this
Oh,
recount.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, get rid of that. There's Chance who gave me that name.
Oh my gosh.
So David, what's your next big review? What's the one that we can look forward to?
Well, let's see. What am I doing? I think I actually have a Led Zeppelin 3 classic at the house I was going to shoot out. So that's one that probably, but the big shootout we've got planned coming in November is a 3-person shootout of the Yes album,
Yes.
Fragile, and Close to the Edge.
All
Three people
three
doing
coming
the
out?
shootout live.
Oh, cool.
Pardon?
All three of those are coming out at the same time?
No,
Oh,
no, we're
oh,
doing like the UK versus the
oh,
Kevin
okay.
Gray versus.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's because we have multiple copies available of
Oh,
each,
they're
so
so
we're gonna.
great. Yeah. I
So
think,
Brad, myself, and I think Jason Rojas are each
oh,
gonna. We've
sweet.
each got one album assigned to us. Then
Oh,
we're gonna do it on a live stream.
I think I
oh,
have like
really?
Yeah,
five or six fragiles.
yeah.
It's
Just trying to do something different, Darren.
yeah.
Just trying to.
That
Yeah.
it's really funny when that. See, there's another one, David. See, I had the Analog Productions. Yes, the Fragile by Yes, and I sold that for the 2016 Kevin Gray remaster for that one.
Hmm.
It's all same packaging.
That was like $20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but see, I'm always thinking to myself, well, if I can get better return, like I'm always going to lose money on these things.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, well, I don't like to have two copies of anything. So it's like, and then I grabbed it just, because then, of course, being in the Steve Hoffman forum and at that time, you get sucked into everything. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just try this new Kevin Gray thing. I listened to it. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then I thought, okay, well, now I got two.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, sorry, Analog Productions, off you go. There you
By
go.
your math, I need to get rid of 5 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I have 6
Yeah.
fragiles.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, but now it's like, was it once I got the one by Kevin Gray? It's like, yeah, okay. But I did order the Atlantic.
But the funny thing is, when I was growing up, well, as a teenager in the '80s or whatever, and I had Fragile on our Canadian version. For some stupid reason, we didn't get the booklet.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah. So so it was always a surprise to me, like on the Analog Productions one and the Kevin Gray one, they both included it. So I was like, oh God, this is great. So I'd never ever seen that before.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking at a 72, a 75, a 77, 2 77s. A 2016. This one's not. I don't even know what this one is.
So what does everybody think about? Actually,
71.
It's great that we're on this. So what does everybody think about that album?
Yes.
Like, yeah, the
Fragile?
Fragile. We'll just I know Close to the Edge and I know Yes album, but it's become so popular. Let's talk about. I'm not trying to dominate your conversation here or your channel, David, but
No,
what does everybody think about Fragile? What stands out for them? Not as a totality, just
it's a near
songs. Like,
perfect record.
Which ones do you go bananas over?
It's a near perfect record.
I like Roundabout. Really, I mean, it's just one of the better lead-off songs on an album. It just, yeah. And is Long Distance Runaround on that? I'm
Yes.
trying to remember. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yep.
Actually, that was the flip side of the single of Roundabout.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
as near a perfect album as you can get. It really is that good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Close to the Edge is a perfect album. I
think Fragile, album. Then the Yes album. I think that's second.
Yeah, that's up there.
And then yours, yeah. In that order.
His comment, yeah.
Yeah, look at that, Steve Hoffman forging. Yeah.
Steve Hoffman, I missed it.
Oh, sorry. Here it is, Nick.
Do it again.
Yeah. Oh, John, you're so right. Yeah. I don't know you, but I know
I don't go there.
I don't know you, but I'm telling you, man, you're the best.
I don't really either, Nick. I don't look at Steve Hoffman much.
I don't go there much, but one time I did a review and somebody told me, they sent me the link to the script. And yeah. Well, no, I did a review and somebody commented.
Same thing.
And they go, is that the guy who's in a picture with a rabbit? And I guess they looked me up on LinkedIn. And I have a picture of me and the puka from Harvey because I played Harvey in a theater production.
Did you?
And they had a
Oh,
and I put that up on my LinkedIn page,
Oh,
and
jeez.
so now I'm the old guy with the rabbit on Steve Hoffman.
That everyone's leery of.
that's great.
See,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, it's funny
Yeah,
how a little snippet of time out of somebody's life can brand you,
Yeah, I know.
you know,
they
or
are
burn you.
they are ruthless on that Steve Hoffman
Are
forum.
they?
It's
Yeah, I don't have,
insane.
you need more time or you need more hobbies or more things to do, in my opinion, than spend all day perusing.
Well, like I said, like when I
Of
started
course, here I am.
I started recollecting in 2014. So Steve Hoffman was the only thing I really knew. So I
Yeah.
just went on there, and then that was the time when all the Pink Floyds and the Elton Johns were being reissued, and the Led Zeppelins too. So, but yeah, it just became such a, excuse my language, but a poo poo show. It was just poo poo caca all the way. It's like, my God, really? Like, really? You're getting so anal about it. And then, people be like copying and copying and copying everybody's like quotes and stuff like that. And it's like,
Yeah,
God, it's like, it's
it should be called the people with too much time on their
too much
hands.
for me, man.
Exactly.
Of course, I could say the same thing about us four right now. But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Here you go. Here, this will cure whatever it is.
oh, is it okay? Was sugar?
No,
Was that
it's
sugar? Oh, it's
no.
okay.
It's, this one's for one, and this one's for the other. They'll fix you up.
Okay, whatever you need, Nick. I mean, I'm not going to judge.
Oh, that RL, please, sir.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
well, you opened your
I don't
mouth.
have two. I don't
Remember
have two
what?
of them. Why do you
Remember.
keep saying I got two of them? I don't have
Remember
two
what
of
I
them.
said about opening your.
Yeah, I know.
I'm.
I know.
I'm
But
just as bad.
I will say this. I mean, every store I go to, whenever I see a Led Zeppelin 2, I check it. Doesn't
Awesome.
matter.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm
I
in
do.
line.
Just,
Put
you
me in
know.
line.
I need to start
Perpetual
checking
line.
for a Led Zeppelin, different version of Led Zeppelin 4 to get the Porky Pecco cut sometime.
Oh, really?
Hey, we don't
Okay.
allow that kind of language here, Dave.
Yeah.
Someone told me that that's George told me that's the one to get for the Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, when I was running George's stream, I just ran it through my through my monitors, and then all of a sudden it was just like the drums kicked in. I was like, oh my God, listen to that, and that sounded good just even for YouTube. Just
Wow.
coming out of that, I was like, oh my
Led Zeppelin
God,
2, yeah.
great.
I was there. Yeah.
Well, I played. I put my Ludwig on a wave file. You know, I played it. We were going down to Austin. I played it for Brad in the car, and I mean, you could feel
Wow.
the drum in the dang car. You could feel it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
I've
so
never heard it like that. That's incredible.
yeah.
yeah.
The first
So,
time
I
I
mean,
heard or I was made aware of it was Michael Firmer's. He did it wasn't really a shootout. He just said, you got to listen to, and you can hear like all the ticks and pops and stuff like that. But just even hearing that on, obviously he's got a very very expensive system, but just even hearing that, I was like, oh my God, that is, and I didn't even know the story behind it until I read his or I watched his video back in, whatever it was, like 2015, 16, something like that. So I was never made aware of any of this stuff. So when I listened to it, I was like, oh my
Well, it's
God,
because
that
you're
was,
Darren. It's
that was
because you're in the
great.
dark. If you turn a light up a little bit, we could see your face.
What's
oh,
that?
Derek, yeah. He's like Brad.
Are
He's
you
got a really
wanted?
dark.
Are you wanted multiple countries or something? We
You
can
don't have
barely
a, you
make
don't have
out your
a light
face.
facing. You don't have a light facing you because you're kind of
I'm
dark.
just breaking your chops. You're
Yeah,
a
but
shadow, Darren.
I'm sorry. What do you
You
mean?
you're.
he's saying you don't have a light on your
You
face
see
like a
how I'm
light.
bright and reflective lights?
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, you know what? Other
yeah.
people are complaining about it. They think that I'm using old technology, and yes, I am. I have an old MacBook Pro, like from 2014
It
or
isn't the camera.
something
It's
like.
lighting. I
Or
think it's just
it
lighting.
is the camera. So I promise. Next time I
Oh,
do these things,
hey,
I'll use my phone.
I got a mini. I'm breaking your chops. I got a mini 2012. That's my music server when I do streaming or
Is it?
digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, as long as puppy keeps chomping away,
Yeah.
I never turn it off.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was
Uh-oh.
saying.
Just get a
I want
light,
to get.
get a
I
light
want
like
to.
that, just
I was saying that. That's why I was saying to David, it's like I want to get into other stuff. So he mentioned Oppo, and then like I said, I bought this thing, and it's like, well, yeah, like I don't mind doing it. Like I don't sly on digital or analog or anything like that. So it's just like, well, I just want this as part of my collection. So I thought, well, it'd be great to just sort of revisit, you know, uh, just concerts on DVD or Blu-ray and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it all musical. God, I still have to get a TV. I have to
Oh,
actually buy a TV.
YouTube.
I don't even have one.
you're better off for
Yeah,
it.
I was
There's no
Trust me.
music here, man.
You're not missing much. The
Yeah,
LSU
right.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be
Is it
over.
over? Did they win?
No, it's 41-18, 8:39 left.
Oh my gosh, they dragged those things out. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
8 minutes means 45.
So, David, does U.S. Customs give you any kind of limit on to like what you can bring back, or are you okay?
No, no. You mean coming back with what I got?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Well, that's all right.
I've never had anything like
Oh,
that.
cool.
My friend, my local record guru, Mike, he went to he had to shut his record store down um, for a month because he went on holiday to Germany, and he started posting all the things that he got, and he'll sell like in his he has been selling in his store, but he started buying and buying, and then it's like all his not just clientele, I guess people who are interested start looking and going, my God, like how much are you able to bring back? It's like you almost need like a whole cargo crate for what you're bringing. He was bringing back like honest, I'm not
Wow.
exaggerating. He had like 200, almost like I think almost 200 albums he was bringing back.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah,
lot. Wow, yeah.
but it was more obscure stuff.
Mhm.
Just a lot of prog stuff that happens in Germany that just people here like on this side of the pond they they don't necessarily get exposed to or get educated to. So yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy supporters. I don't understand
Hmm.
that.
I don't understand that.
Sorry, you don't understand what?
They highlighted.
Mariah Stark said something.
Oh,
Hey, David,
Dave.
have you been to the Crystal Factory Orifice
Where? Here?
in Sweden? Yeah.
No.
It's incredible. It's amazing the
I'm always
artistry.
I'm always a little leery of anything called orifice. But
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but
oh, okay.
I shipped 3 boxes home to my mother from there, and not one piece, all delicate pieces, not one piece was broken. It was shipped,
Hmm.
and it was incredible the way it was packed. And there's some beautiful stuff, cheap, so reasonable. And I
Yeah.
still don't understand that post.
Yeah,
Well, you can't.
read Mariah's
No.
next comment. You'll figure it out. RG.
Yeah, I knew what
Well, I know
I
it's
knew the award
Rachel's.
he meant. Yeah, I knew that. But no, I mean, I think I was nominated for
Who knows?
best rebrand name or name.
Rebranding, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and best dressed or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Not when I'm wearing this, but anyway.
Your slumlord outfit. No
Yeah,
chance, I'm kidding.
Chance, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
Hey,
he's
David, I got a question for you. Are you going to do? I know you and I can tell already. Like we basically share the same taste in music.
okay.
Um, how do you feel about the? Uh, how do you feel about the Genesis stuff coming out? Like, never mind my accusation about you and Chad. Let's just put that aside.
No. That's okay.
And I was wrong, and I apologize. Let's just.
No. It's
What
hey.
do you, how do you feel about, for example, because obviously it's going to have to be split up, like the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. That's going to be on 4 LPs.
Yeah.
And where do you split it up? And
Well,
I
there's a natural spot where you can do it.
yeah,
So
well, I thought about that.
yeah.
I really did because I just know that album inside and out. But I think the only two things that I would probably be interested in, but I had see again, I had the classic records of Selling and the Lamb, but
They're going to use. I think they're going to use the classic
they're going to use those
artwork.
stampers, aren't they?
I think so. I
Yeah, I
think
think
so.
so too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's okay because
Yeah.
I think that was my problem in the beginning stages when I had those albums. The pressings just were not very good. Not not so much the sound; it was fine, but then
Okay.
I started comparing like to the remix, and then you
Drum
know,
support.
so I thought, God, how like the Lamb is like I'd have to say it's probably my favorite Genesis album of all time.
Well, we're going to find out soon because Selling England by the Pound's coming out November 3rd.
Yeah, yeah,
You think it would be sold by now, right?
yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, if they were selling it by the pound when it first came out, it's got to be gone by now.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Hey, that's one of yours, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, of
I just
course.
beat you to it.
Well, I'm always a little tentative on talking about farm animals, but anyway.
So
leave
you
that-
pre so you have pre-ordered everything. It's like it is coming to you regardless,
Yeah,
right?
he's a member.
I subscribe.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
I did. I did the
Yeah,
monthly subscription thing.
yeah.
Number
Which
300 and what?
308.
308. At least I got I was close.
You're close.
Oh, so when you become a member, you actually get like a stamp like on your
You get a
Every
sign. You
single
get
one
every
with the
every
same
pressing
number.
will have that number.
really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How,
That's part of the advantage of being subscribed.
how do they keep track of that? That's
It's a bitch. It's a bitch. It's yeah,
they got a little stamper and it's like, wait, David clunk clunk. Okay,
yeah.
where's the
yeah.
next guy?
It's
It's
it,
extra labor, that's for sure.
yeah. It's easy. It's easy to screw up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I heard they were doing it, I talked to Chad and I said, man, that is you just asking for logistical literally a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
You
He's
know.
confident
Yeah.
in his crew,
Yeah. Well,
which is great.
and I am too. But
How do you
but
think
anyway, I mean,
how do
you're
you
not
think they're
paying
gonna put up
for it.
Foxtrot?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. About Foxtrot, is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
was gonna
said?
say, how do you think they're gonna split that up?
I I I don't know.
I think it's gonna be
Uh,
in Willow Farm. I think the part where it goes a flower, I think that's
okay.
where that's going to be the last side.
Okay.
So Horizons in the first part of Supper's Ready. I think that's where
Okay.
it'll be, and then where it goes a flower, it'll stop. That'll be the end of the record. Side two starts. Ding, 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 ding. If you go down to Willow, that part. I think that'll be the last side. So that's just me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you got your first day of shipment? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marius Stark, he asked. Yeah, I think Marius did. I think he said he did. The lamb had nothing to do with we can't dance. I can't dance.
hmm
Yeah. Well,
Well,
at least
people
You see
criticize
the
that album.
crowd you draw, David.
People criticize that album, but it's actually a very good album. You gotta be careful what
I
you
know.
say.
Oh,
I
I
know.
have another report on Rhino Recordings. They're also doing dead.net, right?
Right, you said that. Yeah.
Right, and you talk about the worst
Cus-
packaging. I mean, they cut the cardboard in half, I think, to ship the record. Fortunately, it came in one piece, but I've never gotten a record so cheaply packaged in my life.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
a shame.
between shipping, packaging, and customer service, they're really
Yeah, little to be
they're really
emulated.
bad. Yeah, they're really. Yeah, I know. Hell, I got two new cartridges that I bought, and I haven't even mounted them yet.
I
So,
thought you were gonna do a review on that, David.
and I am going to once I put them in. I
Oh,
figured doing a review beforehand would be kind of silly, but
no,
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
because
kidding.
you,
No, you're right. Enough time has gone by, but I
no, I was
just
just
have
waiting
had
for the video
too.
because I really was curious as
Yeah,
a
yeah. No,
audio
me too.
fan. I thought, oh, this would be cool to hear.
Yeah, I'll do it. It'll come out the first week of November. Yeah, that's my first job to do when I get there. Get home.
back, back. Yeah, right. Now, concert buddy, Chance knows how to package.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I had a guy the other day. He said he got the Hotel California one step, and he got two LP2s.
No,
I heard about
Yeah,
that. Boy,
oh,
it's funny that you ship out to a VC member and you get crucified.
yeah,
I mean, mistakes happen. You get that, right? But I've heard that story at least 4 times.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm barely, you know, barely online.
Did you see that they're not doing the 2x45 one step of iRobot now?
No, they
They
stop.
decided not to do it. Yeah, they put out the 33, but they're not going to do the 2x45
ooh,
one step.
So who's
Mobile
expecting a
Fidelity.
refund?
Yeah, they've said they're canceling all the pre-orders.
really?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
oh man, that stinks.
yeah.
What about
The 2x45 regular one is so good. I'm not sure how they're going to
Yeah,
beat
that's
it.
true.
So,
what about these? Okay, well, actually, sorry, David, you probably be able to relate more because I'm just like I said, I'm getting this Oppo player. So I thought the whole thing was with SACD that you're going to get just like Blu-ray, you're getting a 5.1, and you're also getting a DSD sort of, I guess, ultimate of the two channel from the analog tape, right?
if
So
it's an SACD, yeah,
it's an
standard.
SAC, but these
Yeah,
are being released from Acoustic Sounds or Chad on SACD. So why aren't they? It doesn't matter to me
yeah.
as far as like surround sound. I don't have a system like that, nor will I ever. But why aren't they putting it out in 5.1?
It's always an independent choice of what format they use, Blu-ray versus SACD, and I mean they're just I don't know why the rhyme or reason why they choose, you know, and that's why the Oppo is so good because it doesn't matter, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
gives you the flexibility to play it all
yeah, yeah.
because there's really there's no rhyme or reason to it in my opinion.
No, I
I
thought there
don't.
must be like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not educated, so I was kind of thinking, well, I thought the whole point of like SAD was to get that sort of 5.1, and if they're doing an original mix, like they did, like the Genesis stuff was done on
Right. Yeah.
SAD, like in Europe, although they did it, but then they converted it back here because
Yeah.
it wasn't as popular, like on. So they did it like for DVD audio as a surround. So why aren't acoustic sounds sort of like you know what I mean, like sort of gravitating to that,
Oh, you're talking about them specifically. Okay.
like to the
Yeah,
new
well
one,
that's
to the new
yeah,
one.
well that's not in the agreement. That's why.
Oh, oh,
That's why.
all right,
I can tell you that. That's not that's not in it's like I mean the whole thing is kind of like it's the same thing on the vinyl because they can't do 33. They have to do 2x45. Atlantic's doing
Oh,
45.
yeah.
right,
It was the same way with Steely Dan. Universal's doing 33, and only
right.
Chad's doing 2x45s.
I
Even if he even if he sells out of UHQRs and does the regular non UHQR, he's got to do 2x45.
right. So that's
He's
just
bound.
that's just
So
a
these are
contract thing,
contractual.
like,
Yeah, these are contractual things. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Now yeah. The Japanese have combinations of that. It's not a technical issue. Yeah, it's not a technical.
No, I'm just
And
wondering.
it's not a space.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's
No,
not,
go ahead.
and
Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
not a space issue as far as storing it. It's really what's allowed for purchased and what they're allowed to do. Now, obviously, they cost more too. That's the other thing, of course, because
But I
you know
guess my question would be then why SACD? Like why that?
the perception of
If you're only going, if you're only, I guess what I'm saying is because if you're only going 2 channel, then what
yeah.
stops you from going, from Blu-ray? I mean, okay, it could be contractual, but like I said, if SACD is more popular in Europe, whereas DVD audio is more popular here, then why that?
Well,
I mean, I'm not expecting you to give me like the straight answer.
DVD
I'm
not
just
more
asking
popular.
it as curiosity. That's all.
It's an obsolete format. A DVD audio is an obsolete format.
Was it?
Yeah, they don't produce it anymore.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, you can buy stuff that was made that way.
Yeah,
They don't really
yeah,
produce it that way, and it just so happens Oppo's read them.
yeah.
But like Sony's read SACDs, but they don't read DVDAs.
Love.
Right.
So glad I
You
got an
know,
Oppo.
so it's a compatibility issue as well.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a all these things are freaking rabbit holes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Plus, we love
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I know.
Depends on
Yeah,
where you live.
yeah,
Well,
but
today's election day here in the state of Louisiana. Pray for my
on
state.
Saturday, on Saturday,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
interesting. Okay.
Louisiana has parishes. We're different.
Oh,
We don't have counties. The only state in the union. 4
Okay.
constitutional amendments. Again, seems like every time there's an election, there's a constitutional amendment.
I didn't realize that about Louisiana. Yeah,
With
Yeah.
that,
I didn't realize about the parishes.
oh yeah,
Not,
we
not,
still have
not counties.
Napoleonic laws on the books
Hmm.
in some cases. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
a.
you come out of the Stone Age. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know.
It's crazy. Well, I don't mean to be
No problem.
restrictive here, but I think I'm going to hit the sack. It's 4:26.
Yeah, you're me.
Yeah. So,
I was going to go an hour. I went up to almost 2.5. So
Uh-huh.
hey, listen, you're on our time, buddy.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, usually when I'm driving, I talk to Nick and he keeps me awake. Now he's keeping me awake at 4 in the morning, and I'm not even in a frickin' car.
Yeah, right. It's so unnatural.
Yeah,
Well,
the Oppos are the problem with I mean, they're not made anymore, so they're
yeah.
really premium dollar,
Yep.
and it's really. I mean, I've got a original. I've got a CD player that's a CD DVD player of theirs, and it was magnificent at the time,
Yeah.
and
Was
they
that the
just.
night? It was called the 95.
No, the new one I got was a 95. This was a BDP 83, I think, or a
Oh,
DP 83
yeah,
or something
BP.
like
I
that. It
got
was
the
Yeah, that's one of the
203.
first ones. Yeah.
You got a 203?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, Darren's gonna have a 205. I've got a 95.
Yeah, 205s. That's
Well, I
where they
considered.
stopped.
Well, Nick, I considered the 203, and I really, and like in our area in Canada, we have this place. It's called the Canadian. What is it? No, it's called Canuck Audio Mart.
Yeah.
Canuck is just a
Yeah.
reference to Canadians, but anyway,
Yes.
yeah. So a lot of these things were appearing, and I did a lot of research, and
Hmm.
it really came down to either like a new Sony, the new one that's out, or well, the recent one that's out
Right.
that
Yeah.
can play like DVD audio, SACD, and Blu-ray.
Right.
And but then I heard through just asking and posing the questions that it tended up to freeze a lot. And I thought to myself,
Hmm.
well, if I'm going to get into this sort of 4K stuff, and like I said, I don't have a TV, so I'll probably get into that eventually. So it's like, well, yeah, I'll just grab it. But anyway, it turned out the 203 was a great price, and that was a true contender. I thought that was the one. I knew I was going to get it, and then all of a sudden, this opportunity came up for me to grab a
Yeah.
205, and it's like, oh, God, I didn't want to spend the money, So it's like,
Well, it depended on your needs as
fair,
well.
So it's like I get
I
it.
didn't need the added the added pre-outs and this and that.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
need that for my system because I run everything.
Yeah.
I have a weird
That's
setup. I run everything through a mixer, so I need
Yeah.
all those analog
Right.
outs.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I got the 95 because it's got the analog outs because
Yeah,
that's what I
there you
wanted.
go.
Right.
So,
But this has analog outs, the 203. It was
Yeah, the
just
203 does, but I like the idea of having the balanced XLRs.
right.
Those are the ones that you can get from the 205, and they can go straight into a mixer, and then you've
Right.
got really true. You've got it right there. So
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's
that's
that link?
My
Go
needs
ahead.
were more on the side of video than they were on the audio because I run turntable and
yeah,
I just wasn't going to invest in both formats.
yeah.
And I have a home theater system, so everything,
Right,
yeah, everything melds together quite well.
nice.
So yeah, they're bulletproof. I love it. Knock wood.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying it.
Yeah.
So I'm
And now Oppo only makes phones. Damn.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
what I
stupid.
heard, the good news is that I heard through just people talking to people on the Oppo site is that Oppo still gives customer service and
Yeah.
parts if there's something goes wrong with your.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
They
they're
still offer
awesome.
it.
As,
So they're,
as
They-
long as they have the parts, they will.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, their customer service is great. Unfortunately, I have never had to utilize customer service. So
now I want their phone.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Chance just sent us a Moni Muse live stream if you want to go join that. So
You get an interview. I know that.
anyway, y'all have a good Saturday night and
Good
night,
it's
Dave.
Sunday to
Hey,
me.
hey,
David,
Nice
I have,
having you, Darren. Nice
David,
having
need-
you, buddy.
very
you
very nice.
need you need me to keep you awake on your flight? Just
No,
give me a call.
I will. But yeah, it was great.
Thank you
Dave,
so much,
thanks for being here.
thank you, David.
Dave,
Dave,
Darren,
Nick,
God
Darren.
bless.
Hey,
Good to see
Darren,
you.
feel free to join. Feel free to join me anytime.
All the best.
Yeah,
Bye
thank
bye.
you. Take care, guys. Bye bye.